Hello. I hope I am
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So I
Anand,
am
sir.
starting.
Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I welcome Professor Ankush Anand, sir, to this workshop jointly hosted. This faculty development program by Madan Mohan Malviya Teacher Training Center, SGBAU, Santa Gadgiyaba Amravati City, Amravati, in collaboration with Sipna College of Engineering and Technology, Amravati, and Sipna School of Planning and Architecture, Amravati. I welcome the today's resource person, Professor Ankush Anand, sir.
Namaskar. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Ankush Anand, sir, is a faculty at School of Mechanical Engineering from Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University, Katra, Jammu. He is involved in teaching and research for nearly 20 years. His areas of research include product sustainability through design, MCDM, decision algorithms. He has supervised 6 PhD candidates in the areas of sustainable risk assessment, product design, sustainable supply chain management, natural fiber composites, etc. He has to predict more than 80 SCI and Scopus Index journal publications with high impact factor. He has also successfully published his research work in world's prestigious journal ASME, which stands for American Society of Mechanical Engineers. He has visited various countries like UK, USA, Austria, Turkey. Here, he has also chaired the conference sessions. He is reviewer of various journals, including Journal of Cleaner Production, Archives of Computational Methods in Engineering, Polymer Composites, Computer Integrated Manufacturing System, Journal of Industrial Engineering, Journal of Concurrent Engineering, Journal of Intelligent and Fuzzy Systems, Journal of Tribology in Industry, Material Research, etc. He has been the recipient of Department of Science and Technology's Young Scientist Grant for presenting his research work in ASME conference in Los Angeles, USA. He has also presented the work in Imperial College, London, UK. Presently, he is working in the area of changing dynamics of higher education in India and challenges in implementing NEP, National Education Policy 2020, a sustainability perspective. So I welcome Professor Ankush Anand on behalf of our Sipna College of Engineering Technology, Amravati, and Sipna School of Planning and Architecture, Amravati. Welcome, Ankush sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaskar. And सबसे पहले जय माता दी आप सबको. Because I'm
Jai
calling from the holy place. Yes. So before I actually interact with the participants, it was really a great honor for me to come across another mechanical engineer who happens to be the principal of the college. So Dr. Kherde. So अच्छा लगा सर आपसे बात करके. Thank you very much. And but before that, I'm really thankful to Professor Atiq Ahmed Saab for giving me an opportunity to be part of the MMTTC program. Though I had spent some of my time in Nagpur. So with this consideration also, I wanted to actually interact with the participants, which I believe that most of them are from Maharashtra area. Sir, as we start the session, so should it be English only or should we have a blend of both Hindi and English? Kindly let me know, then accordingly I'll proceed my presentation.
Sir, the program is specially addressed for the two institutes that are located in Amravati only, both under the same banner. One is engineering college, one is architecture college.
Architecture.
So yeah, everyone is very well comfortable. Wherever you would like to use Hindi, yes, it's a Rashtra Bhasha, no issue. You can go ahead.
Okay, because I have been delivering talks at various platforms across the country, from Northeast, Maharashtra, Gujarat, South
Yes,
also. So I have to ask the participant first. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure.
So,
No,
should we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Very well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, dear participants, thank you very much. Myself, Professor Ankush Anand, after having spent nearly 20 years in the university system of education, where I have held various positions at the level of lecturer, assistant professor, associate professor, and finally professor. Now, I realized over a period of time that there is a need to work in the area of the education spectrum of India. And luckily, during that period also, the COVID era was there, and there were not much of the activities where we could engage other than using the internet resources. And by that time, our NEP was formally in the process of being launched by the union government. So let me first start with the presentation, then we'll talk about the different dimensions of NEP. Are you able to see the PPT participants? Are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. So the topic of my talk is academic leadership, governance, and management from NEP perspective. Before I actually enter into the presentation, I just want to have an idea about the various domains from which the participants are attending. And it will be my request to the participants to please be interactive through the session. Rather, I request that it should be two-way process instead of a one-way process. Let it be two-way process. From your end also, I want you should interact in between the presentation. So that way, it may happen that some new things may come up as a part of this discussion. Because we all belong to the teaching fraternity, we all belong to the same environment. So let us exchange views while discussing what is academic leadership, governance, and management under the ambit of NEP 2020. So, dear participants, I'll request you to please unmute yourself for a while so that I'll just come to know about your basic domains. Then accordingly, I'll channelize my presentation. Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
जस्ट एक ब्रीफ आइडिया अगर मुझे थोड़ा मिल जाएगा कि कौन सा आपका डिसिप्लिन है. अगर इंजीनियरिंग से हैं गुड, आर्किटेक्चर है अच्छी बात है. उसके अलावा अगर
we all from engineering, especially from the branch of civil, mechanical, electronics and telecommunication, computer science and engineering, information technology, and mechanical engineering.
Okay, so there are no participants from applied sciences or maybe other disciplines.
No, sir. Maximum participants are from engineering and architecture background.
Okay, because sometimes there are people from diverse identities in terms of English, maybe sociology, history, economics, like that. So fine. So we all are basically from the same fraternity, then exactly the same. That is, I also being a mechanical engineer. Today we are going to discuss about the academic leadership, governance, and management. Now, if we talk about the education spectrum of India, through which we had been acquiring the education over the last several decades. So let us first go through what the then Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, said once. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru once said that a university stands for humanism, for tolerance, for reason, for the adventure of ideas, and for the search of truth. It stands for the onward march of the human race towards ever higher objectives. If the universities discharge their duties adequately, then it is well within the nation and the people. So these were the words of the then Prime Minister of India, late Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, at some university convocation. He also said that if the temple of learning itself becomes a home of narrow bigotry and petty objectives, how then will the nation prosper or people grow in stature? So these were the views of the then Prime Minister of India, who realized that education is something which is the foundation for any country to grow or to raise its stature. So from time to time, the system of education was given a focus considering the needs of the society. And accordingly, our leadership from time to time, they try to work in this area. Now, we talk about NEP 2020. can anybody tell me what is this NEP? What is your understanding about NEP? Any participant?
NEP, National Education Policy. It is the policy related with the education enrichment.
Okay. Any other, Nilesh Kasat sir? Okay, good. Thank you. Any other participant? What is your understanding about NEP? Okay, I'll put this way.
Sir, NEP should be the indigenous education.
Okay, indigenous education, very nice. Okay, Professor Nityananji, thank you. Okay, let me put it this way. NEP, your understanding, as per your understanding, NEP is new education policy or national education policy?
National.
The national education policy, new education policy. Now let us talk about the existing system of education which we had till date. So I am posing a question before the participants, because we all are, especially engineering faculty or architecture faculty, more or less same. Do you think that the traditional system of education was much more structured, much more focused, if we compare with the proposed NEP model of education for the Indian society?
No, sir. Traditional is having more theoretical oriented, I feel. Theory oriented. Whereas the NEP, what we implemented and it is in implementation, it is more skill and practical oriented.
Okay. We are not why I have used this word. It means not with the focus on specific stream, but education system in general, considering arts, humanities, sciences, social sciences, and all that, whatever disciplines that are available with us. So my question always remains that, do we think that the traditional system of education was much more structured, much more focused? Suppose a student or a learner who entered into the system of education, he or she was admitted to some program, and then after acquiring some minimum number of grades or credits or percentage, they move to the next higher level, maybe in the same direction. Rather, I would say the number of directions, that the diversities were very less. So with this understanding, I believe that the new education policy, or the national education policy, what we call, it is something known as a flexible education system or a barrier-free education system. Why? Because there are no barriers. Nowadays, there are no barriers. A mechanical engineer, if interested to learn the subject of music, or maybe phonetics, or maybe any other discipline, or maybe agriculture, or maybe any other discipline, he or she has no constraints, no barriers as far as entering into that zone is concerned. So that is why NEP 2020 paves way for a flexible education system, unlike our traditional education system. So now moving ahead further, when we say education, what is the purpose of education? When we say education, what is the purpose of education? Why we want to educate people? Because in a country like India, where the population is in several hundred crores, what is the purpose of education? So the purpose of education is to educate the masses. So when we talk about masses, it means the public, it means the youth, it means the those who want to join the process of learning. And in that, attracting large number of learners. This is something very, very important. That is attracting large number of learners. So when we say attracting large number of learners, it means the traditional system of education was such in which there were many number of people whose interest was different, but they, for one reason or the other, they joined the program, they joined the stream, maybe due to several other reasons. But NEP paves way for a system of education in which choice-based education or a learning system based on your interest, your personal intrinsic your personal interest, basically, that in which stream you want to learn. So that is something. So I'm not talking about to achieving excellence. So that may not be the purpose of education, but yes, to educate the masses and attracting large number of learners. As we have the participants who are our teachers rather. So can anybody tell me what is the gross enrollment ratio? I'll not talk about research because here I'll focus only on the education. So can anybody tell me what is gross enrollment ratio? GER, gross enrollment ratio? Any participant?
It is related to the enrollment
Yeah,
for
yes. It means
education.
how many segments of the society are basically enrolled in the learning process. So we don't use nowadays the word students, we use the word learners. So learner may be any, and age is no longer a barrier. So you might have seen maybe I think 2 or 3 days back, one retired bank manager, he cleared some exam. Just few days back, this was in the news. One retired bank executive, I don't know whether he was manager or some maybe higher level, he cleared the medical exam. It means after having rendered some level of service, maybe 30 years or 35 years or something like that, his passion was into the field of medicine. So he cleared that exam. So this was in the news, I think, maybe 2 or 3 days back. I was just going through internet and this was there. Now, so that is why attracting large number of people or the learners and then educating the masses. It means the traditional system of education was something in which these elements were not properly linked or chained. Now moving ahead further, when we say education policy, what is our understanding about education policy? Anyone? Okay, I'll not ask much. Let me move. So education policy is basically refers to an amalgam of laws or rules which are instrumental in governing the operational mechanism of some education model. So this is what education policy is. So it means we have some laws, we have some framework, we have some rules by which our education model is governed. Now, when we talk about the next step, that is what is the need for education policy? What is the need for education policy? So the education policy is basically an instrument which forms the foundation for any institution or a university, a college, a school, or maybe any learning center, such that it creates some set of procedures. And those procedures are to be followed and implemented in the society by and large. Now, this is something very important. As one of the participants said, that the previous system of education was something in which theoretical concepts were more. Okay, that is the individual understanding. But let us read these lines by Robert Heinlein, in which he said that a human being should be able to just see the terminologies that have been used. A human being should be able to change a diaper, plan and measure. I'll not read much because it will take much time. Let us say design a building, build a wall, solve equations, analyze a problem, program a computer, and cook a delicious meal. If we see in all of these activities, do you think that there is something known as the element of skill that is required? Suppose you want to write a program, you want to write a computer program, you need programming skills. You want to prepare a delicious meal, some food, yes, you need skill. Or in other words, if I say, if you want to make a rangoli or whatever we use in the celebrations of that during Ganpati Mahotsav or maybe during Navratras or Durga Puja, you are making rangoli or you are making some designs of flowers. So that also you need skill. Everyone cannot do it. It means the element of skill is there. So right from changing a diaper, everyone cannot do it. So it means you need some level of skill. So these are just the words just to understand it means the element of skill is very, very important. Now, this is very important. The NEP was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. Can anyone tell me on what date it was launched? When was NEP launched? In fact, they all are teachers. I should not ask, but okay, as a participant, I can ask. When was NEP launched? NEP 2020 launched? Any idea about the date or the month? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Can anybody tell me on what date the NEP 2020 was launched? I'll come to academics, I'll come to leadership, I'll come to governance, I'll come to management. But let us first enter into the basics. When was it launched?
I think 29th of July 2020.
Yeah, it was in July 29. It was on July 29, 2020 that this policy was formally launched. Okay. Now, who was the chairman of NEP 2020 committee? These are the things we should know. Very basic things. Who was Dr. K. Kasturirangan? Dr. K. Kasturirangan was the chairman. So generally, majority of the participants know that headed by Dr. K. Kasturirangan. So Kasturirangan committee was there, headed by the Honorable Prime Minister. So that was there for the launch of NEP 2020. Okay, but before I actually move into the committee, I'll come later. Now, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji said that to make this the century of India, it is very important that the youth of India is equally proficient in education as well as skill. When it comes to skill, your mantra should be skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. This is very important. Skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. When we say reskilling, it means, yes, we have some element of skill already available with us. Because had skill been not there, there would not have been so many things available which we see today. Right? So the thing is, we need to reskill, we need to upskill. So now reskilling and upskilling, again, the mantra goes that you have to unlearn first to learn. It means for a new learning, you have to unlearn. So that is why when we talk about the skill-based education, so the integration of skill-based education into the curriculum, that is what basically your NEP 2020 is. So these words were said by our Honorable Prime Minister in the month of September 2022, nearly 2 years back. So this is his views now with respect to the modern India, with which the India wants to become a Vishwa Guru. So how will it become a Vishwa Guru? Okay. Now, this is something very important, that in order to involve the element of skill in our teaching learning process, we need to have the elements like creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. Because if we have the element of critical thinking and creativity and a good collaborator or a good communicator, then we will see that a different type of individuals who are really required to meet the challenges of the future society. So that is something we need to train, we need to develop such individuals. So this will be possible only if the element of skill is introduced into our learning process. When we say skill-based education, for technical courses, already element of skill was already there. Let us say, suppose I was a mechanical engineer or a production engineer. So we already had the exposure of machinery. We already had the exposure of various machine tools and various manufacturing processes and other related activities, right? We had thermal power plants, we had boilers and so on. Similarly, civil engineers, they had the exposure to highway engineering, tunneling and all that. No doubt, whatever technologies were available at that time, they were able to go through that. But the thing is, they had element of skill. That is why the bridges, the roads, the dams, the infrastructure that was possible during that time, that could be delivered. But the thing is, now the society wants something else. It means the government realized over a period of time that the existing system of education or the previous system of education, which was prevalent in the country for several decades, was not sufficient enough to meet the future demands. And then the concept of launching a new system of education, that is basically the NEP 2020 was there. So NEP basically is your revamping the education spectrum of India. Right? It means they are restructuring, they are restructuring the education model such that how things can be shaped in a different manner, or how the individuals can be groomed such that they are the individuals who are skill oriented. Now, can anybody tell me who are the real stakeholders of this NEP 2020? Is it the college? Is it the college student? Is it the university students, or is it the school students? This is day 3 or day 4 of your program. Hello, sir. This is day 3 or day 4 of your program.
Day 3, sir.
Day 3. So I hope that by this time you must be the participants must have some basic idea that who are the real stakeholders of NEP. Is it the college going? Is it the college going learners? Is it the university going learners, or is it the school going learners? Yes, you may try, Dr. Harshal.
University.
University, okay. It is basic.
Students have a freedom to opt the courses, different courses.
No, actually, my question was that who are the real stakeholders of NEP 2020? Is it the college? Is it the college learners? Means the college students, the university students, or the school students?
I think it is the college students.
It is a college student, but if you see this document, in depth, you will realize, or you will analyze that it is basically an experimentation to start with the school students. Because now, at the elementary level itself, the things are being restructured, rechanged in colleges or universities, things are not going to be altered much because they were already sequenced. There may be some minor changes like in terms of the ability enhancement courses or skill enhancement courses or value-added courses, mean some curriculum changes. But now, yes, the major focus of this NEP is to create a different culture of learning at the initial stages, that is during the school education. That is why you must have observed that during the past 3-4 years, or rather maybe in the next 5-6 years, you will see that there is going to be a major restructuring of the school education system, not only in terms of their examination reforms, but mainly in terms of the infrastructural availability. That is, creating such an infrastructure in the government schools that, because the government will fund these education sector in such a manner that the creation of infrastructure in the government school, especially in the far-flung rural areas, so that education becomes accessible for everyone. That is why academic leaders have a greater role to play in it. How to transform the existing system into a new culture. So there comes the role of your academic leader. I'll come to academic leader also. I'm coming. So this is basic. This slide is very important to understand. The NEP basically, whether we call it new education policy or the national education policy. So the essentials of NEP focuses on creating a culture of education by bringing the unorganized strata. I was talking about the gross enrollment ratio. So it is something in which the mainstream learning mechanism. It means we have to attract people. That is what the purpose of education is. We have to attract people to the mainstream learning education. So what is mainstream learning mechanism? Can anybody tell me? Mainstream learning mechanism? Any participant? What is mainstream learning mechanism? Okay, mainstream learning mechanism is basically the enrollment of learners in the school education system. So that is the mainstream learning mechanism. So it generally talks about those societies, it generally talks about that strata of the society, that strata of our society who are not enrolled in the learning process for one reason or the other. So the reason may be any. So it may be poverty, it may be ignorance, it may be lack of interest, it may be their feeling of it may be their feeling that they are not educated in the English mode or English medium, or it may be because of their economic constraint, or it may be because of the mental threat. So anything can be there, anything can be there, but the government's focus is to attract those learners into the mainstream learning mechanism. So universalization of education, because NEP says that education model should be such that it should be diverse and inclusive. So diversity and inclusiveness are the basic characteristics of the education model. It means people from diverse identities, people from diverse disciplines, when they are integrated together in the learning mechanism, then learning really holds some different meaning. So that is why universalization of education. And then it talks about something known as preservation of ethics or human values. So you must have heard about something new concept called universal human values. Has anybody heard about it? Universal human values. It is a special set of courses which is being launched by AICT and UGC for various UG and PG students throughout the country. The universal human values, UHVs. I don't know whether it is there in your system or not, but by and large, it is there. Universal human values means how the human should behave. How the human should behave means what should be our ethics. Means earlier we used to have something known as professional ethics. So professional ethics is once you become professional, but universal human values as a human being, as a part of the society, what is your duty to the society? What is your role in the society? So this is something. Now, what are the other members of this NEP 2020? Can anybody tell me what are the other members of this NEP 2020? Anyone? Who were the other members of this NEP 2020 committee? Okay, I'll just read, because the involvement of member itself reflects that how holistic this document has been made. Dr. K. Kasturirangan was the chairman. Then Professor Vasudha Kamath, former Vice Chancellor SNDT, Women's University, Mumbai. Professor Manjul Bhargav, professor of mathematics from Princeton University, USA, but basically a person of Indian origin. He was from Rajasthan. Then Professor Ramashankar Kurir, former founder Vice Chancellor Baba Sahib Ambedkar, University of Social Sciences, Madhya Pradesh. Professor T.B. Katimani, Vice Chancellor Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh. Shri Krishna Mohan Tripathi, Director Education and former chairperson of Uttar Pradesh High School, Uttar Pradesh. Professor Mazhar Asif, professor for Persian studies. He was basically a professor of Persian studies in Assam University, Guwahati. But I think then he moved to Center for Persian and Central Asian Studies, School of Language and Literature and Culture, New Delhi. Then we had Shri M.K. Sridhar, former member secretary, Karnataka Knowledge Commission, Bangalore. And Shakila T. Thamsu, officer on special duty, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. Manju Bhargav is already there. Then K.M. Ramachandran, advisor, National Institute of Education Planning and Administration, New Delhi. Anurag Beher, CEO, Azim Premji Foundation and Vice Chancellor, Azim Premji Foundation, University, Bangalore. And Leena Chandran Badia. So if you see the involvement of people who were instrumental in shaping this document NEP 20, this itself reflects that how holistically this document has been drafted, how holistically this document has been made, such that it has taken into consideration various dimensions of the society, considering the Indian scenario. So that is why very diverse nature of people were involved. A professor of mathematics, a professor of Persian studies, like that. And then we had some vice chancellor, we had some bureaucrats and other people who were instrumental in shaping this document. Now, NEP also talks about the 3-language formula. Can anybody tell me what is 3-language formula? Yes, what is 3-language formula? Anyone? Am I audible? First, let me hear it. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, because there is
Yes,
no
sir, yes.
response from the other end. Okay. Anyone who can tell what is three language formula? Three language formula? NEP talks about dissemination of knowledge in local or regional languages. That is the most beautiful feature of NEP. Suppose we have our participants from Maharashtra, so you speak Marathi, right? So you speak Marathi, fine. Suppose I am here in Jammu and Kashmir. So in this region, Jammu region, we speak the language Dogri or the local language or maybe Punjabi. Similarly, if we go to Kashmir, people use Kashmiri language. Similarly, in other areas, Doda, Bhadrawa, Poonch, Rajouri, people use Pahari languages. So the thing is, how many languages are available in India? In a country like India, whether anyone has any idea how many languages are available? So I have just given an example. Is it 30? Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 200, 300 or how many? Any idea? Any participant? कितनी languages हैं हमारे देश में?
We don't have exact number, but it is said that after every 15 miles, the language changes in India.
Yeah, it's fine. It's correct. It's correct, sir. But any idea? Okay, let us say nearly 700. If you Google it, you will come to know that nearly 700 languages are there. So the three language nearly 700. So still that may not be the exact value. Its number may be different, but let us have an idea. 700. So in a country like India, there are 700 languages which are available. So when we talk about 700 languages, so certainly other than Hindi and English, then the counting starts. Suppose in Maharashtra, people speak Marathi language. I have delivered this type of talks in areas like Central University, Kerala, and some other parts of the South universities. Similarly, Northeastern universities, Gujarat University, and so on. So people have diverse identities, diverse languages also. So now NEP says that multilingualism should be promoted. Multilingualism. So the three language pedagogy says, or the three language formula says that dissemination of knowledge in three languages. So what are those three languages? One is our Hindi language, one is our international language, English, and then your local language. Because local language is something which has the ability to attract, to invite, and to accommodate people much easily than the national or the international language. Can anybody tell me from where this NEP 2020 document has been taken as a base? From where? That is why this three language formula was introduced. कोई बताना चाहेगा? Anyone?
Nalanda,
Yes, sir.
Nalanda University.
No, not Sun. It was not Nalanda. I'll come to Nalanda University also. We will discuss some aspects about Nalanda University also. It is not Nalanda University. Anyone? Otherwise, I'll move ahead. So it was basically from the European Union culture. European Union. It is basically European model of education. The NEP document that has been designed considering the Indian demands, Indian society, how the educational system is there in Europe. This type of model has been developed. So it is on the basis of the European Union, and I think very much closer to the University of Hungary. Very much closer to the University of Hungary. Because in Europe, if you see, if you go to Germany, they'll use German language. If you go to Spain, Spanish. If you go to Italy, Italian, France, French, right? And so on. Similarly, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Finland. So they have their own local or regional languages, and their medium of instruction is in those languages also. So if such type of thing is successfully launched and implemented in countries like Europe, then can we have a similar type of model in a country like India? So that is why the regional language. So much focus has been laid on regional language. That is dissemination of knowledge in local or regional language. I'll just quote this thing. I was in Nagpur, so I studied in Nagpur. So our friends were there. So मुझे भूल भी गया वैसे थोड़ा, बट अभी याद करते हैं थोड़ा। मेरे फ्रेंड्स से तो हम आफ्टर द कंडक्ट ऑफ एग्जाम, जब हमारा एग्जाम हो जाता था यूनिवर्सिटी का, तो पीपल यूज टू, आवर फ्रेंड्स यूज टू डिस्कस इन द मराठी लैंग्वेज, दे सेड पेपर कसा गेला, राइट, पेपर कसा गेला, एंड द अदर वन सेड जसा आला तसा गेला. इज इट समथिंग लाइक दैट, सर, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग?
Yes, yes, correct.
है ना? पेपर कैसा गेला, पेपर वो बोलते जसा आला तसा गेला, राइट, दैट. सो द लोकल टच इज very much imperative. When you have the involvement of local touch in your model of education, then you will see that language will no longer a barrier. और उससे क्या होगा, काफी ज्यादा लोग हमारे लर्निंग प्रोसेस के अंदर आएंगे. अब ये सब कुछ कौन सुनिश्चित करेगा? सरकार तो अपनी जगह है, मगर जो हमारे एकेडमिक लीडर्स हैं. तो एकेडमिक लीडर्स के पर अगर हम बात करें, तो हु इज अ लीडर? हु इज अ लीडर? हाउ विल डिफाइन द टर्म लीडर? एक लीडर कौन है? Can we say that we as faculty members, we as instructors, we as mentors, we as teachers, we are the leaders, or we can be the leaders? Yes, because we are in the process of decision making under different sets of situation, under different set of environment. So yes, every faculty member by and large, I would say, is a leader. Now we have to discuss about academic leadership. So what is an academic leader? Who is an academic leader? So an academic leader is the one who takes care of two basic elements. One is your learner, that is student, and next is your faculty or staff. So he is basically bridge. He forms basically bridge between the two. That is why you have our worthy positions, like you have the head of department, you have your maybe director or dean, whatever you call, and then you have different positions like deans, you have your different disciplines, and then you have different responsible cadres, right? So we all are basically, primarily we all are teachers or mentors, but at the same time we have some other responsibilities to play. So how academic leaders are important, or what role does academic leaders play in the domain of education? So this is something we will see. I'll move some other slide fast. Okay, who is a leader? First of all, let us say. So this is something known as leader. So leader is the one who is exemplary in nature. He or she should set an example for others. He or she must be a visionary. He or she must be a good decision maker, a good team builder, because he has to form team. An administrator, an academic leader, or an academic manager cannot do anything of his or her own. So he needs to develop teams. So he has to be team builder. At the same time, he is a risk taker. Yes, whenever decision making is there, an element of risk is there. So here we have some photographs, pictures I've shown, like Mahatma Gandhi, Adolf Hitler, then Nelson Mandela, and then one photo picture from Shiv Bhagavad Gita. Then academic leader should be one who must have the element of empathy. Because if you are empathetic to someone, then only you will realize whether the decision you are going to take will be in the right direction or not. So the element of empathy is also required. A motivational, you need to motivate yourself, you need to motivate your team, because you are heading one team, you are considered to be a leader, so you have to be a good motivator. And at the same time, you have to inspire those who are not into the mainstream process. It may be your teaching fraternity, it may be your students, because having spent more than 20 years in the university system, we have seen so many situations. So that is why what academic acumen you should have, we need to understand. So it is something which is intrinsic. There are some things, there are some aspects which you have inbuilt in yourself, and something you may learn as a part of your experience. But majority of thing I see when we say leadership is something which is an intrinsic characteristic of every faculty member or every individual cannot be an academic leader. Cannot be an academic leader. Yes, but says to some level, everyone is an academic leader. Now, the 21st century learner, he or she should be a good communicator, a self-directed learner, an innovator, a problem solver, a communicator, a globally aware citizen, a collaborator, a critical thinker, and financially and economically literate. So all these traits are required in an individual. So that is why the process of learning should be such that it has to be made more and more holistic. Now moving further. So as I said, diversity and inclusiveness are the most important features of university. So NEP talks about the transforming the higher education by multidisciplinary program. So who will introduce all these things? It is only the academic leader. So when we say multidisciplinary, it means the integration of science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, or anything. Can anybody tell me what has not been included in NEP? Which two disciplines have not been included in NEP? Any participant? इसमें हमारी इंजीनियरिंग है, मैथमेटिक्स है, ह्यूमैनिटीज है, सोशल साइंसेज है, बट कौन सी दो स्ट्रीम है जो एनईपी के एम्बिट में नहीं है?
Medical and law.
Yes.
Medical
And
Yeah,
law.
yeah. Yes. Law and medical are still not under the ambit of NEP. Rest, every stream has been included under the umbrella of NEP. So, okay. Who introduced the concept of examination? Who introduced the concept of examination? Who introduced the concept of examination? Anyone? Please, I have many things to discuss. Okay, it was Henry Fischel who introduced the concept of examinations. It means in order to evaluate, हम सब एग्जाम लेते हैं, एग्जाम देते हैं, हजारों स्टूडेंट्स हमारे हाथ से पढ़ के गए हैं, हमने एग्जाम लिए हैं, मगर this question was asked to me by some primary level education student, primary education student, class maybe 4 or 5 student. कि सर ये एग्जाम अंकल एग्जाम क्यों होते हैं, ये एग्जाम क्यों है? So I was also very curious. Then I just searched in the internet. So it was Henry Fischel who introduced the concept of examination. Okay, which is the oldest university in the world? Somebody talked about Nalanda, Taxila. So we often call about Nalanda, Taxila, but it is not Nalanda or Taxila. They were in fact the ancient Indian universities, but which is the oldest university in the world which is still in continuous operation? If my answer is which is still in continuous operation, जो अभी भी डिग्री अवार्ड कर रहे हैं. Any participant would like to?
It is from Italy. I don't know the name, but maybe from Italy.
It is the University of Bologna, Italy.
Yeah.
It is the University of Bologna, Italy. It is the oldest university in the world. So it was in the year 1088 that it started the system of education, and it is still in continuous operation. This is the most beautiful part. It is still in continuous operation. Abhi bhi wahan se degrees award ho rahi hai, right? But if we talk about the Indian system of education, the ancient Indian system of education, what universities we had? See. So these were the universities. We had Vikramashila, we had Pushpagiri, we had Ratnagiri, we had Taxila, we had Nalanda, we have Adantapuri, we had Somapuri, we have Vikrampur, we have Jagadala, and we have Vallabhi. So these were the top 10 ancient universities that used to impart education. So depending upon the nature of the skills required, there were disciplines like horse riding. There were disciplines like agriculture. There were disciplines like this carpentry, machinery. Then there were disciplines like craftsmanship, agriculture, right? And whatever the requirements of that period, accordingly, apart from that, some level of medicine was also imparted. Some learning with respect to the this medicine, that was also imparted. We had the Ayurveda system and all that. So whatever literature was there, our trainers used to disseminate the knowledge in different disciplines. And our Prime Minister recently visited Nalanda University, maybe in the month of August this year, and he tried to revamp the model and pass necessary directions so that things can be restructured or revamped. And again, we may start the Indian system of education. Okay. So now what is the purpose of education? I'm not going to discuss. So when we talk about academic leadership, somebody's mic is on. Please, sir, I'll request you, please turn your mic off or mute yourself. Someone's mic is on, I think. Okay. So as far as academic leadership is concerned, an academic leader must focus in the area of governance and management. An academic area, I'll come to this slide later. An academic leader must focus in the area of research and skill development. An academic leader must talk about outreach and partnership. An academic leader must talk about the involvement of technological advancement into the learning process. And then he or she should also talk about the curriculum reforms and all that. So what is the importance of academic leadership in educational institutions? So first is vision and mission. So the academic leaders provide a clear vision and mission for the institution or the department. In fact, the participants in today's session are from engineering fraternity. So they are already well versed with the vision and the mission and all these things, but they may be in terms of what we call your accreditation process for NAC or NBA. But here role is a bit different. So you have the academic leaders provide a clear vision and mission for the institution or the department. So this sets for course, and similarly, academic leader has to ensure quality education. So effective leadership ensure delivery of high quality education. They set standards for curriculum development, teaching method and student support system, and also fostering an environment conducive to learning and academic achievement. An academic leader also must focus on research and innovation. Academic leaders promote a culture of research and innovation by supporting faculty and students in their different set of activities. Then allocation of resources and providing mentorship and creating opportunities for collaboration and interdisciplinary research. So this is what the role of academic leader is. Academic leader, okay, before I talk about faculty development, when we say involvement in interdisciplinary research, involvement in collaboration, mentorship, don't you think that we already are involved in this process one way or the other? Yes, participants, don't you think we are already involved in this process one way or the other? In the process of collaboration, in the process of mentorship, in the process of research work, or maybe in the process of interdisciplinary research, we are already involved in this process. Now, academic leaders have to lay much focus on faculty development. So academic leaders facilitate the professional development of faculty members. So how the professional development can be there? It can be by providing them the opportunities in terms of the seed grant, in terms of the travel grant, or maybe in terms of the professional development assistance. Then academic leaders must encourage and honor the faculty members who bring laurels to their institute or to maybe to their society or maybe the state by whatever means possible. It may be some certification or maybe cash prize or whatever it is, something like that, so that they also feel that they are a part of the process. And academic leaders have to also provide the opportunities for the engagement of faculty in various academic and research responsibilities. So that is also the role of an academic leader. Then academic leader has to provide the resource management. He has also to discuss that how the one of the resource management is the human resource management. Another resource management is the funding. So funding means how to deal with the situation of crisis or how to manage your resources in the best possible way. So all these aspects are to be managed by that manager. So an academic leader or an academic manager, he or she must have that acumen that how to manage the financial aspect in an institution. Then the human resource management. So allocation of resources, optimization of resources, and then he or she has to ensure that all these activities are to be done in a transparent manner, and the element of accountability must prevail in every action. Then only you can become a role model. Because if you have transparency and accountability in your system, then only you can be exemplary, then you can be a role model. Then community engagement. Academic leaders cultivate strong partnership with external stakeholders, including industry, yes, industry, academia partnership and all that. So I believe that majority of the things we are already involved. We as teachers from engineering fraternity, we are already involved. So they promote collaboration, knowledge exchange program and all that. So they also provide the opportunities to the nearby communities so that they can also be a part of your process and contribute to the development of your institution. There is something known as the Institutional Development Plan, IDP. So an academic leader must ensure that the IDP, that is the Institutional Development Plan, is well executed, because its execution depends on how best the plan has been devised, and the future of the institution also depends how best you are able to deliver as per the institutional development plan. And then we talk about the institutional reputation. So you have the rankings, you have the NBA ranking, or you have the NAC ranking, or you have the QS ranking, or you have the NIRF ranking. So whatever rankings are there, so it leads to a strong reputation of an institution, and the onus lies greatly on the academic leader. So an academic leader has to ensure that the practices are followed in such a manner that the reputation of the institution should grow year by year, because it all depends how best you are involved in taking everyone on the board such that a fair set of practices are followed in your system. That also ensures the credibility in the academic community and all. So what is the difference between boss and leader? Can anybody tell me what is boss and what is a leader? Who is a boss? Who is a leader? Okay, we'll discuss at the last. Yes. So as per, I was talking about the institutional development plan. So affordability, accessibility, quality, equity, and accountability. It means it is the academic leader who has to ensure that he or she provides a world-class education affordable for every student who is admitted to his or her institute. Then accessibility means high quality formal education accessible to everyone. Then the academic leader has also to ensure the element of quality, that is in terms of the infrastructural development, in terms of the facilities. So it may be by providing the high-speed internet, or maybe by providing a seed grant for the lab development, or maybe congenial sitting space and your examination reform. So many things are there. So student support system, mentoring, curriculum development. So all these things are to be done by the academic leaders. Then the element of equity, that is also very important. So an administrator and academician should be such that his actions should be gender neutral. He should be gender neutral. He should have no element of biasness as far as his actions are concerned, his decision making is concerned. And the element of accountability, very, very important. That is, that an academic leader must be accountable to all stakeholders. So who are stakeholders? Everyone who is involved in this process. So we were discussing about excellence in governance. So excellence in governance and management, enhanced teaching and learning, technological advancement, outreach and partnership, research and skill development. So academic leaders, I'll start from research and development first. Academic leaders must focus on promotion of research excellence and innovation both locally and globally. It means both within the city, within the state, within the country, and then globally by interacting with international players. Then enhancing skills by the introduction of initiatives, making universities a skill hub. Yes, you should provide university or your institution a skill hub. It means there should be availability of opportunities such that people are attracted to your learning environment. So your approach should be such. So that will be made possible if you have such a vision that considering the needs of the society, considering the needs of considering the futuristic demand, you are able to provide some resources, some setups in your institute or the college or the university so that people are eager to join your system. Then improve graduates' employability. Yes. Creation of job is something which is going to be a major challenge as far as the implementation of NEP 2020 is concerned. What is your take as a participant? Before I move further, whether any participant would like to deliberate on this employment generation? I'll just come out of that for a while. Yes. Yes. Creation of jobs. Any participant who would like to talk in this area? Because creation of job is something which is a challenge before all of us. Because already we have a trained technical manforce who is struggling to get jobs, and by the implementation of a new policy, you have a parallel manforce. So one force is this, another force is this. So two parallel manforces are there who are about to seek jobs. Because at the end of day, whatever education model that you follow, at the end of day, there are two ways. Either you become a job seeker or you become a job giver. It means you may have your startup, you may become an entrepreneur, something like that. You may have your company or industry, you may recruit people, hire people. But majority of the population, majority of those who are into this process, they end up with searching jobs. So where are the jobs? That is going to be a major question. Any participant who would like to deliberate on this? Creation of jobs. Yes, anyone? Okay. So,
Sir, enriching incubation centers.
yes, please just.
As you said, creation of the job is one of the responsibility for the leaders or in the new education policy.
Yes.
So, enriching the incubation center and promoting the entrepreneurship development sales or
Yes,
strengthening the entrepreneurship development sale in the schools or colleges.
These days, a lot of technology business incubation hubs or technology business incubation centers have mushroomed up in various institutes. That is a welcome step, but the thing is, how far we'll be able? Just a minute, let me share the slide. I think there is some technical glitch. Yes, okay. But there are many technology business incubation centers or your innovation councils are there in institutions. But the thing is, how far we'll be able to meet the demand of our people
Society.
who want to join the process of employment. Startups are there, but in the coming next 10 years, it is really going to be a challenge. So I often use the word that the implementation of NEP is basically an experimentation on the new generation. Because what will be the fate, what will be the outcome of NEP-based education after the next 10 years, India is going to see. And the major challenge India is going to see is the creation of employability avenues. So if the government or the society at large is able to generate a large or a good number of employment avenues, then definitely the results of this policy will keep on further. Otherwise, it is going to be a major issue if employability remains an issue. So, creation of jobs, creation of employment opportunities, that is something which we all have to look into. We have the technology business incubation centers, technology councils and all that, but to what level they'll be able to generate jobs. So that is what we'll see in the next 5 years or maybe next 10 years. Now moving ahead further. Sir, are you able to see the screen? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So multidisciplinarity in institutes and research collaboration. So NEP also talks about a model known as MERU. Has anybody heard about MERU? MERU? Multi-educational research universities. So now we have two set of universities. One is academic institute and another is research institutes. So you will have the degree awarding institute and you have the research degree awarding institute. So there will be segregation of these two. But at the same time, the too many statutory bodies or the regulatory bodies will not be there, and we will have the National Higher Educational Research Council, something like that. Now, academic leaders must also talk about or must also take about outreach and partnership. So, improving partnership with intra and inter universities, yes, a consortium of local universities or maybe Indian universities and or maybe the universities worldwide. Then improving industry interface for universities, yes, involvement of industry. So I think that is that some level of element that is already there in our process. Then enhance community outreach to make education holistic and practical. Yes, that is also an area where the academic leaders need to work upon. And promote branding of the institute. Yes, if your practices are well benchmarked or if your practices are well met as per the statutory guidelines, then definitely the branding of or the reputation of your institution grows. So all these responsibilities are to be governed by the academic leaders. Now, technological advancement. So academic leaders have to facilitate the use of technology in the institute. So when we say technology, it may be your artificial intelligence these days, or maybe your machine learning or whatever set of resources, like you have the 3D printing technology or whatever technology, or maybe use of programs like NPTL or MOOCs or blended learning and all that. So whatever the global trend is, accordingly, whatever best that suits your environment or that suits your institution, you may adapt. And then evaluation and examination reforms by the technology, so that may also be there. And advanced LMS, ICT, I think majority of the institutes, especially in states like Maharashtra, they are already following it, advanced LMS and IT. So ICT based education, it is already there. Then become center of excellence using technology. So many institutes have proved themselves as center of excellence by incorporating some technologies, by that adopting some methodologies or developing their own framework such that it becomes a role model for other institutions to follow. So many such practices are there. So that is basically what all depends upon the vision of the academic leader, the involvement of the academic leader. So academic leader has a very greater role, a greater responsibility to play as far as the institution is concerned, and especially when it is implementing the schemes like NEP 2020, and academic leader must have a focused vision, and he or she should be committed to implement the practices such that the outcome as enshrined in the NEP document is well met. Then enhanced teaching and learning. Yes, So academic leader has to focus on the faculty issues. So curricular reforms, academic autonomy, yes, innovations in pedagogy, faculty development, then high student faculty ratio, then yes, this faculty attrition rate and student attrition rate. That is also very important. It means how many faculty are retained and how many are leaving. Similarly, how many students continue with the other program in your institute and how many are moving out in some other institute. So these things also academic leaders have to work upon. Then global standards and all that. Okay. Then improve rankings, mentorship, we have all talked. So administrative reforms and autonomy, how academic leaders can ensure this, improve governance via reforms. So all these things are basically something which academic leaders must work upon. And by and large, wherever the systems are working, where the systems are working in the right direction, by and large, there may not be much requirement in this area. Why? Because those institutes who have already involved themselves in the process of accreditation, maybe NBA or NAC, so they are almost on the right track. They are almost on the following the right approach. That is why they have been able to meet those benchmarks. But in general, the academic leader is the one who has a greater role with respect to the development of the institution. So this is what academic leader, administrator, government manners. So I'll just move. So they should have good communication skills and then strategic thinking. Yes, academic leaders are the strategic thinkers who can analyze complex issues. There can be many definitions, there can be many explanations in this, but the thing is how decision maker works, it all depends upon the ground situation. Sometimes you have to take you have to take decision which are out of box. So it all depends upon the administrative acumen of an academician. It may be your director, it may be your dean, it may be your vice chancellor, it may be your head of department or rector or whatever position you have. So there are different provisions, but like you have the principal of the college. So principal of the college is the head of the institute. Head of the institute means he is similar to the dean of the faculty in university system. But because in universities you have the vice chancellor, similarly in institutes like our NITs, the National Institute of Technologies, you have the directors whose role is more or less like a vice chancellor, and in a college system you have a principal. But every role, whether it is a principal or a dean or a vice chancellor or a director, they are involved in the process of decision making. So they take decisions based on the ground situation, because it is the principal or the vice chancellor or the director who will take the appropriate decision in the larger interest of the institute. So this is how the systems work, right? Empowerment. So the academic leaders, they empower faculty, staff, and students by delegating authority, providing support and resources, and fostering a culture of autonomy, creativity, and professional growth. So this is all what is done, means centralization and decentralization of powers, right? Because one man cannot do everything, so there is something known as a pyramid type of structure. The head of the institute, maybe the college, maybe the principal or the director or the vice chancellor is there, and then you have your own network or the umbrella under which the entire system works. Then academic leaders must involve in the process of mentorship. Academic leaders are committed to mentoring and developing the next generation of academic leaders. Yes, those who are principal today or director today or vice chancellor today, their peers, we also learn from them. This is how the things work. We also learn from our peers, we also learn from our seniors, because they are going to be the next generation academic leaders, and then they cultivate a pipeline of future leader within the institution. Yes, sometimes it happens that an individual from the same institute becomes the head of the institution. So it is the process of mentorship, because continuous training, we are involved in decision making process and all that. Then academic leaders are lifelong learners who continually seek new knowledge, skills, and perspective through professional development, networking. But sometimes, I personally believe that by attending programs by attending programs, it may not be that much fruitful in the sense, this sense of decision making, this acumen, this administrative acumen, which an academic leader must have, it is something which comes over a period of time, and then they are able to deliver in the environment. So no doubt they are in the process of learning also, but otherwise, academic leaders are such that they have the administrative acumen in them. That is why they are giving that role. It may be principal, it may be dean, it may be director, it may be vice chancellor, or anything. And then types of academic, so I have already explained. So you have the vice chancellor, and but at the top you may have the university president or the chancellor. So in our Indian system, we have the maybe the in private system you have your what we call, in private system you have the head of the trust or something like that. But in the government system you have the chancellor, and under chancellor you have the vice chancellor. So we have the vice chancellor, pro chancellor, rector, dean academic affairs. So we know all these things. So they are responsible for the academic programs, faculty affairs, curriculum development. Similarly, depending upon your structure, you have your board of studies, then the higher bodies, your what we call academic council or syndicate, and then the final body is your executive council. So that all depends from institute to institute. In a government setup, you have the academic council, executive council, or maybe syndicate. But in the private setup, things may be different, but things are more or less the same. Means nature of matters to be discussed, the policy making, the major decisions to be taken. So a pyramid type of structure is there, right? So you have the deans, you have the heads, so you have the program directors, coordinators, research center directors. So many things are there. Faculty senate, that is what I was talking about, the syndicate of the senate. Then you have the board of studies and the academic advisors, right? Okay, let us have a practice session. NEP was launched on. Do you want to be involved in the practice session or not? Or should
Yes,
I
sir.
move further?
Yes, yes.
Okay, what is ABC?
Bank of credit. Academic bank of credit.
Academic bank of credits. Okay. Third question I'm not going to discuss now. Academic leaders are not accountable to
Political party.
Political parties.
okay, good. To have inclusive education, we will have to respect diversity.
Yes, yes, correct.
We'll have to respect diversity. Okay, which mathematician was a member of NEP 2020 drafting committee? Was it Professor Mazhar Asif, Professor Ramashankar Kuril?
Commerce, sir.
Is it A, B, C, or D?
D.
D.
No, it's C, Professor Manjul Bhargav. That is why I have given you the members. Professor Manjul Bhargav is a professor of mathematics, Princeton University, USA. Professor Manjul Bhargav. Okay. This is basically what NEP 2020 talks about. I think people from computer science, they must be knowing this structure. They must have, they must, because they are teaching also. Because I use this. Yes, computer science faculty, what is this? Can anyone tell me?
What network?
It's graph.
No, graph, yes.
Graph.
Digraph.
It's a graph.
Graph. So it is basically digraph or graph. Graph or digraph or bigraph. So when we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it means NEP talks about the system of education such that there are no barriers. Anyone can pursue any discipline. Suppose one is mathematics, 2 is, let us say, physics, 3 is biochemistry, 4 is mechanical engineering, 5 is electrical engineering, and 6 is music. So we can expand, even we can have a more complex diagram having more number of holes. So there are no boundaries. There are no. So when there are somebody speaking, I think. Okay. There are no boundaries. So when there are no boundaries, the learning becomes interesting. It means, have you heard about multi-entry, multi-IELTS system?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
that is also one of the feature of NEP 2020. It means
Correct.
But the thing is, how best we will have the type of individual in the next 5 year, 10 year, that is something which is need to be seen. Because with multi-entry, multi-exit, we don't know what will be the outcome of education. So this everyone must be knowing, because all these facilities are now being provided at, like we have the 3D printer. So 3D printers are now being provided at the school level.
Yes,
We use at the
in
college
at
level. We use at the college level, but now the government is focusing in such a manner that these facilities should be provided by the academic leaders. That is why academic leaders have a very greater role. Academic leaders have a very greater role. Academic leaders will provide all these facilities or similar type of facility depending upon their budgetary constraints at the elementary level, because a principal of a school is also an academic leader. He or she also has to manage things in the same way. So it may be micro or macro, but more or less similar type of things depending on the constraint. So how the decisions are to be taken, what type of infrastructure you will provide, how faculty is to be taken on the board, then faculty empowerment, faculty encourage, how do you encourage faculty, how you develop faculty, what are the resources for students. So all these things are to be taken care by the academic leaders. So what are the challenges in academic leaders? So I'll just move fast because I think time is less. So we have the funding constraints, we have the changing demographics, rapid technological advancement. Yes, today suppose we install 3D printer or maybe a CNC machine or maybe your 5G technology, but maybe after another 1 year. So it may not be possible to immediately move to that level of adding resources because you have the funding constraints. So keeping pace with advancement education technology and leveraging them effectively for teaching, learning, administrative process. So this is something, yeah. Then globalization and internationalization, it means, so that is again a challenge. Managing the complexities of international partnerships, it means we talk about MOUs, student exchange program, faculty exchange program, but how best we do it, an academic leader has to deal with all these things, right? How they become a part of your curriculum and research. Faculty recruitment and retention, that is what I said, faculty attrition and student attrition. What is the attrition rate and what is the retention rate? कितने लोग छोड़ के जाते हैं और कितने लोग रुकते हैं, तो वो किस तरीके का कल्चर आप देंगे, कैसा आप माहौल देंगे, किस तरीके का वातावरण आप देंगे, वो उस पर डिपेंड करेगा कैसा आपका वर्क कल्चर है. सो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, राइट. देन असेसमेंट एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी, you have the different statutory bodies and then the accreditation processes and the government regulations. Then how you conform to that, so that I think we need not. Then strategic planning and yes, crisis management and risk mitigation, that is very important. So responding effectively to crises such as natural disaster, public health emergency. Suppose how you deal with the crisis within an institute. So again, it involves your decision making. So how best you have the administrative acumen in you, you will take decision accordingly. So there can be no fixed set of rules as per which you have to take decisions. Those are all just guidelines, but on the ground, it is an academic administrator, academic manager, or the academic leader who has to take a decision. Then governance and engagement. Sir, do we have time or should I wind up?
Sir, please wind up in 5 minutes. Next, we are having the resource person.
The next speaker is here. Okay,
if it is possible, otherwise you can continue, sir. No issue.
Okay, so this is your NEP structure. So I think everyone must be knowing now. So that is why the foundational course, much emphasis is laid on foundational course. Starting की classes या फिर preparatory 8 से 11 साल तक का जो बच्चा है उसका आप देखिएगा सब चीजें चेंज होगा. आज अभी मेरी बेटी पढ़ रही है तो वो बात करती है आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की क्लास 6 में. Artificial intelligence class 6 में, can you imagine? So we are even just learning what is artificial intelligence. So we talked about the C++ programming or something during our college days, but now a class 6 student is being exposed to artificial intelligence. So this is what the sincerity of the student, sincerity of the government is. That is how the government wants to be actively involved in this policy, because the majority of our population is in the process of learning. चाहे वो स्कूल की शिक्षा है, चाहे वो कॉलेज है या यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, तो एकेडमिक लीडर्स का जो दायित्व है, जो रोल है, वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। वो किस तरीके से चीजों को शेप करेंगे, किस तरीके से चलाएंगे, ये उस पर डिपेंड करेगा। सो NEP is based on the revamping the higher education system, and gross enrollment ratio should be increased by 2035, and to build world class universities you need global high rankings. So we are not talking here about ranking, but yes, if we are able to best implement the NEP practices or the NEP document holistically, definitely we will be able to meet the global rankings. So I'll just skip faculty development. We have already done this. So the best practices are establishing clear goals and objectives, creating a supportive environment, empowering faculty and staff, and embracing change and continuous improvement. Yes, wherever the change is required, we must embrace it. I'll just move. Yes. So there are many other things which I wanted to discuss, but since time is less, so yes, this is very important. Initiatives at the government, and that is the Higher Education Commission of India, the National Higher Education Regulatory Council, National Accreditation Council, and Higher Education Grants Council, Journal Education Council, and for Skill, National Skill Qualification Framework. So these are the initiatives which have been taken as a part of the government. So these will be the statutory bodies under whose ambit the NEP will be under the umbrella of these bodies: HECI and HERC, rather HEGC, Higher Education Grants Council, Journal Education Council, and then your Skill Qualification Framework, and we have the Accreditation Council. So for good governance, we need to be accountable, we need to be transparent, we need to be responsive, we should have equitable and inclusive approach, we should be effective and efficient, we should follow the rule of the law, our involvement, participatory approach, and then consensus oriented. So this is what as per the United Nations good governance, these are the 8 pillars of good governance. So I'll just wind up. Yeah. Some key responsibilities of academic manager: curriculum development, faculty recruitment, faculty development, are budget and resource, student affairs. I have already explained all these slides: strategy, planning, community engagement. Yes. So academic leadership is a multifaceted endeavor that plays a pivotal role in shaping the future of educational institutions. So it can be any training institute, it can be a diploma institute, it can be a degree institute, it can be university, it can be college, it can be anything, and the individual they serve. Okay. So this is what I have tried to sum up, that how the academic leaders are involved. They are effective academic leaders. They possess a combination of visionary thinking, strategic planning, and interpersonal skills. But rather, I say the administrative acumen, that is very important in academic leader, because if you are a good administrator and if you are involved in the process of your governance, in the process of your management, then definitely it will lead to good results. So all those roles like faculty retention, accountability, and all that we have already discussed. So I was talking about the Meru multi-educational research universities. So they will be there at par with the IITs and IIMs. So they will be set up in the country. So similarly, you have the affiliation system will be moved out, and you will have the autonomous. So I need not discuss. Yes, this is very important. We are following the NEP 2020 and all that, but Supreme Court said that today's education failed to reform human behavior, and with increase in literacy level, there is a decline in human values in the society. It means हम इतनी ज्यादा डिग्री ले रहे हैं, इतनी ज्यादा क्वालिफिकेशन अटेन कर रहे हैं, मगर हमारा एजुकेशन सिस्टम फेल है. क्यों? बिकॉज जैसे जैसे लिटरेसी लेवल हमारा बढ़ रहा है, हमारी ह्यूमन वैल्यूज में डिक्लाइन हो रहा है. इसीलिए यूनिवर्सल ह्यूमन वैल्यूज का कंसेप्ट इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है डिफरेंट कॉलेजेस, और ये NEP जो है UHP को साथ में लेके आए हैं. Therefore, how to educate holistically, that is by adopting multidisciplinary learning approach, interdisciplinary learning approach, and transdisciplinary learning approach. So this is what I wanted to communicate during this 1.5 hour presentation. So thank you very much. So this is my contact number and my email ID and my Google Scholar page. So holistic and sustainable education is a need of new age learning. Those who want, they can take a photograph of this. They can click this. Sir, should I come out of this PPT?
Yes, sir. Just those who want the phone number, they can note it down.
कर लीजिए आप कर लीजिए.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Any questions, please?
Yes, questions. Yes, जरूर. Because I wanted that they should ask question in between, but बीच में हम बाद में करेंगे, बाद में कर सकते हैं. That is why I often ask participant to interact in between the presentation, so that if any question is there, that is answered there itself.
It was a nice session, Anand sir. Small question was there. How will you relate the NEP with autonomy?
Well, as far as autonomy is concerned, it generally deals with your financial autonomy, your administrative autonomy. So means the head of the institutions, or maybe head of the institution, may rather delegate some level of autonomy to their pyramid structure, means whatever structure that you follow. I don't know whether it is college or university or whatever, but if you talk about, let us say, university, then in university, the delegation of powers, when we talk about delegation of powers, but power actually means delegation of autonomy. So they should be empowered to take decision accordingly. Like we have the, we should have the autonomy in start of new program. We should have autonomy in start of courses like value-added courses, skill enhancement courses, ability enhancement courses. So such level of flexibility should be given. Such level of autonomy should be given to the different positions. It may be your dean, it may be head of the, this may be head of department or something like that, because it should not be a tailor-made. It should not be tailor-made approach, or we should not follow on a path that we have to strictly follow this path. No, we should tailor our requirements based upon the availability of resources and based on the requirements of our learners. In what ways does NEP-2020 promote holistic and multidisciplinary? Yes. When we talk about the holistic and multidisciplinary education, yes, as I given the example of the digraph, in which there are no there are no barriers. A person from medicine, though medicine is not involved, but I'm just giving an example. Let us say a mechanical engineer, if he is interested in music, he or she may undergo a course in music. Then there is something known as your certification program. You have multi-entry program. So the beauty of multi-entry program is this, that if you are not interested in a particular program and you have spent some time, then based on the academic bank of credits, based on the accumulation of credits, whatever credits you have earned, you will be given a degree or a certificate depending upon the minor specialization or the major specialization which you had. Now, when we talk about the holistic, this multidisciplinary education is such that there person from any diverse field can enter into any area. Like you have the open elective, you have the departmental elective or school elective. So the culture of open elective should be given, that any individual who is interested in any particular course may join that particular subject. So that is what multidisciplinary education. It means barrier free, no boundaries are there. It is something like that. Anything else?
Any questions, please? Okay, Vivare madam, please deliver vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Santa Gadgeba Amravati University and Sipna College of Engineering and Technology, Amravati, I extend vote of thanks to Professor Ankush Anand, Professor, School of Mechanical Engineering, Sri Mata Vaishnav Devi University, Katra, for conducting today's insightful session on academic leadership, governance, and management. Sir, we are thankful for your expert guidance on how to foster the academic leadership within the institutions and to ensure the efficient management practices. Thank you, sir. We are grateful for your time you have taken to share your knowledge with us. Thank you so much, sir. We are thankful.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. In fact,
Thank you.
I am thankful to Professor Adik Ahmed and Dr. Sanjay Kade, sir, that I interacted with them also. But the thing is, since majority of the participants are from the engineering fraternity, engineering teachers, so it takes very less time to explain the things because we all have the same mindset more or less. So that way it was not a much tedious affair for me because otherwise when there are people from diverse disciplines, maybe sociology or history or economics or mathematics, then how to integrate all that. So sometimes I feel that's an issue, but here majority of the people are from engineering or architecture. So thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity, and my best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Please do visit Amaravati whenever you at Nagpur.
Definitely, sir.
Or
Sanjay Khede,
also
sir,
you
I'll
are
have
most
your.
welcome to our institute.
Thank you. I'll have your number from sir
Yes,
Adik Ahmed, sir. Thank you.
yes,
Otherwise, I have
oh,
shared my number. You can.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I am having your.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Jai
Namaskar.
Mata.
Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gosset, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Atik, sir. I think the next session is by our own director of MMTTC from Santa Gadgeva Amaravati University, Amaravati, very well-known personality in the branch of computer science and engineering, Dr. Atik, sir.
Hello,
Atik,
sir.
sir.
Hello, sir. Am I
Are
audible,
you
sir?
there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir,
you
you are
absolutely
audible.
Thank you very much, sir. But I
Sir,
don't know
2
my
minutes.
camera. There is some problem with my camera. I'll check it out.
Okay, sir.
Okay. It was
हम
working
2 मिनट
fine,
रुक
but
जाते
I
हैं.
don't know what has happened.
No, आप 2 मिनट रुक जाते हैं, तब तक आप आराम से कर लीजिए.
Sir, what we will do, we will keep it off. There is no issue as such, right? Because
Okay, sir.
it is displaying everything, but the camera is not switching on. So there is some technical issue. It was working fine. I don't think that will make any difference. Or
Okay,
let me
sir.
try once more.
So, okay,
Or
please try.
otherwise, you give me a minute. I will leave and again join. So maybe let's see
Okay,
whether
sir.
it
Please,
works.
please,
Uh,
please take 1 minute.
Yes.
No issue, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hello, Kasur sir. Nilesh Kasur sir.
Yes, sir, please.
I think it is a break time.
Okay, sir. So, 1 मिनट मैं बात कर. अब ठीक है, बढ़िया है.
ठीक है सर, चलिए. Thank you, sir.
चलो ठीक है.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
सो अतिक सर, आप ही रिसोर्स पर्सन हो और आपसे हम परमिशन मांगते हैं, चालू करना है.
Sir, please go ahead, sir. Please.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So I am taking the permission from the director and who is also the resource person for today's program. On behalf of Santa Gadgaba Amravati Institute, Amravati, the Madan Mohan Malviya Teacher Attending Center, also in collaboration with our institute, Sipna College of Engineering and Technology, Amravati, Sipna School of Planning and Architecture, Amravati, I heartily welcome my own Guru Bandhu, Dr.
Sir.
Mohammad Atiq sir. Dr. Mohammad Atiq sir is a professor in computer science and engineering, and he is heading the department at postgraduate department of computer science and engineering, Santa Gadgaba, Amravati City, Amravati. Also having the charge of director at Madan Mohan Malviya Teacher Attending Center, Santa Gadgaba, Amravati City, Amravati. His area of specialization is real-time operating system, soft computing, machine intelligence, and digital signal processing. He completed his BE, ME, PhD, and MBA in human resource development. So visited foreign Greece country for attending international conference. He's having total 34 years of experience with 26 years before PhD and post PhD of 8 years. Industrial experience also is having of 3 months. He has published the many international referred journals with the papers as 38 referred journals, 15 conferences, 7 again national journals, 21 are the conferences and workshops. He also authored 1 book. He has 3 patents to his credit. He is having 3 book chapters to its credit, and he has 6 PhD students awarded till date. 2 are ongoing. He is the member of various professional societies like Computer Society of India, Institution of Electronics and Telecom Engineers, New Delhi, ISTE, New Delhi, Institute of Engineers, IE, Kolkata, International Neural Network Society, USA, and member of Indian Science Congress, Kolkata. He was 6th merit in Maharashtra's 10th board examination during its schooling. He is a recipient of various national merit scholarship. He is recognized PhD supervisor in computer science engineering, information technology, also recognized MPhil supervisor in computer science in the Faculty of Science, Santa Gadgaba, Amravati City, Amravati. He is referee for PhD and MPhil in computer science engineering and information technology in the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He worked as an expert in AICTE committees for granting permission to unaided engineering colleges and polytechnics. He has developed the language laboratory lab with the grant of 42 lakhs rupees under state government grant at Santa Gadgaba University, Amravati. He established data center at Government College of Engineering, Amravati under PIKIP project, Ministry of HRD, Government of India. I heartily welcome Dr. Mohammad Atiq sir for this program. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Actually, I don't think that I require any formal introduction because most of my colleagues are there. And Khede sir, very good
Yes,
evening
sir.
to you.
Yes, sir.
And
Very good evening.
Kasat sir.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
right, sir.
Thank you.
Anyway, you have introduced me exhaustively, I should say. If you can say that I am a teacher, hardcore teacher, that is more than enough. A single line, that is enough for me anyway. So, I think I was attending your first session as well, right? Which was, I think, engaged by Ankush Anand sir. And I found that the very first time, Shirbate sir is again there. Okay, there are many known faces to me, which I know
Yes,
from
sir, yes.
their student type, including your Kasat sir and on, right? So there are many smiling faces, right? And I pray to Almighty that Almighty will keep you always smiling. Kasat sir, Shirbate sir, and all my Gullane sir.
Sir, can we interrupt you?
Yes, ma'am, please.
हमने अपना कैमरा ऑन करके रखा है अभी.
Oh, Dandu madam is again there. So I don't know whether I'll short fall of words. But anyway, today I am in a different role. As you know that we are having this particular program, and this is probably the fourth day of this NEP orientation and sensitization, right? So the issue is a little bit serious, and I am happy to see that you are learning many things. Now you are all academic leaders. So dealing with leaders is challenging anyway. And the topic which have been assigned to me is little bit, I should say, it is serious at the same time. It is importance and so on and so forth. Right. So we'll not waste time, but directly we'll start. We'll go ahead with the agenda. What is there? Right. So the topic, as I said, which has been assigned to me is basically academic integrity, right? And research and publication ethics, right? So we'll have some deliberation on this, and I would love that if you make it little bit interactive, so that we can have some brainstorming as well, right? So with this note, I'll start sharing my screen. Whether my screen is visible, somebody has to confirm.
Not now,
No,
sir.
sir, not yet.
Acha, not yet. Anyway, I don't know what is. Now, sir, whether something is coming up.
Yes, sir.
Now it's showing.
Is it visible now, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is visible now. Let me position the. Yes, I hope now the slides are visible to you. And I hope that I am loud and clear. Hello.
Sir, your file explorer is open. Your PPT is not yet.
Is it? Acha,
Yeah.
sir. Acha. I think I'm sharing my PPT. Let me try out this. I'm sharing the entire screen. Let's hope that it will work this time. I hope the slides are there.
No, sir, only screen is there, sir. Now slides.
No, it's okay, sir. No, it's okay.
Now it's okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you very
full
much.
screen. Just.
Okay. Now I'm going into, yeah. I hope it is
done.
No, it's fine.
Yes. So, as I said that I'll be touching upon a very important topic, which is with regard to research and development, which is one of the important constituent of NEP 2020, right? So, I'll be talking on next maybe one hour or so on academic integrity and research and publication ethics. So, whenever we talk about integrity, okay, just like you have been in the earlier lecture, you have been taught, or rather, I'll not say taught, rather the speaker has shared his ideas with regard to the academic leadership. On the parallel line, I'll be sharing my ideas with academic integrity. Most of the things are known to us, but many of the time we take those things very casually, right? So the idea of this particular talk is to expose you to what is called as academic integrity, and the second part is the publication ethics, right? So whenever we talk about integrity, I would love to hear your responses. What is your perception about integrity in general? Right, this is what is there on the agenda. We'll go as per this particular slide. That is, we will have a look at what academic integrity is all about. Then gradually we'll move forward. Why do we require, what is the need of academic integrity? Then what are the various types of, you can say, academic integrity which we compromise in our day-to-day life, okay? And then we'll go ahead with what is called as duplicate publication, authorship and order, scientific misconduct or fraud, wherein we will have a look at what is plagiarism, and more specifically, if time permits, we'll again have a look at what is called as self-plagiarism and so on, right? And what is fabrication or falsification of academic data. And to wind up, we'll just touch upon maybe a cursory look at what is called as conflict of interest, that is COI. And there are various organizations which are working in this area. We will just try to have a glimpse of those organizations, what they call it as COPE, WAME, ICMJE, and IEEE Code of Ethics. Right. So before I start, I think we need to understand what integrity is all about. So what is your perception of integrity in general? Academic integrity, we will just add up this proverb, right? So anybody, if you wish to respond to this particular query, that is, what is integrity in general?
Integrity belongs to the honesty.
Exactly, sir. So, Kasat sir has rightly said that it is nothing but the honesty, right? To put it in simple words, it is nothing but the honesty, right? Apart from that, there are certain, I should say, aspects which one has to consider while talking about integrity is, or let's say if you go about some bookish definition of integrity is, it is the quality of being honest, right? So whatever you are doing, whether you are doing job or whether you are a student or whether you are doing any other activity, okay, you have to have this quality, and that is what NEP talks about, right? That is the value education and so on, right? So the quality of being honest and having strong moral principle that you refuse to change, right? That is a bookish definition, I should say, of academic integrity. That is, it is not only being honest, but at the same time, if you are having a strong moral principles that you refuse to change. So it happens in our day-to-day life many times. Okay, even if with your bosses when you work, right? Many times you say, no, sir, this is not okay for me, right? So it happens, and that is nothing but the integrity, right? That is nothing but the integrity. And when we put academic in front of it, we are talking about whatever we do, whatever academic activity we do, okay, how honest we are with regard to that, right? So having said that, let's move ahead with why we compromise academic integrity in, you can say, research and publication in general. So before we proceed to exactly why we compromise integrity and why rather people compromise integrity, there are reasons to it. So we need to find out why exactly it happens, right? So why do we write, first of all? Okay, there are numerous reasons to. That's why the people are supposed to write. Many times we write for conveying the information. Many times we write for expressing the thoughts. Okay, many times we write for completing the assignment. For example, you are undergoing this particular course, and let's say at the end of the course, the coordinator assign you certain assignment. Okay, then you are supposed to write and submit it to get the certificate and so on. And when it comes to, let's say, research and publication, again, for publishing work, you have to write. Okay. For getting grants from funding agencies, again, one has to write. That is submit for grants. Okay. Many people simply write for becoming famous. Okay. And the reasons are not many, but some of the reasons I have listed out here. That is organizing our thoughts. That is, if you wish to organize, there are people who used to write diaries, okay, at night, right? Most of the people, they have a habit, that is, they write their daily activity in a diary, right? So you organize your thoughts, you remember your thoughts. For that purpose, one has to write. And historian, most of the time, they write for maintaining the historical records and so on. But to your surprise, we are all, by profession, we are all professional engineers, I should say. But we have never ever undergone, I should say, anything wherein we have been taught that is how to write. Right? This is very unfortunate. And there are people in this particular gathering who are even chairman, or you can say the board of studies member or member of faculty and so on. So this is what is needed. That is what I feel. That is, we don't have any subject or curricula wherein we have been taught that is how to write. Right? That is surprising. Okay, if you look at that is a technical writing, again, it is an art. Right? Technical writing is again an art, but we have never ever been taught that is how to write. And that's why when any new researcher joins you, he asks for, sir, how to write a paper, right? Because he or she has never been taught that is how one has to write, right? So having said that, we will move further and we'll just try to understand why there is a need of academic and why this particular issue has cropped up so seriously in the past few years, I should say 10 or 15 years down the line, right? So what is the need of academic integrity? This is what I have listed out. I think if you look at my slide, okay, there is again one message which I want to pass. That is, bottom line, if you read carefully, you will find that the source from where it has been taken up, right? So these are the 5 famous plagiarism cases in history. I'm talking about international cases, right? So if you simply go through them, you will find that what kind of impact they have in our, you can say, in the entire world, right? By simply you look at the very first case, that is a speech made by Melania Trump versus Michelle Obama, right? She has been accused of plagiarism for a speech she made at the Republican National Convention 2016, right? Then Harry Potter, again, one of the, I think, very popular and I think must talk about the Goblet of Fire, right? J.K. Rowling's versus Adrian Jacob. There was a case, right? We will not go into the controversies. That is what is with whether who was right and who was wrong. That is none of our business. The idea is to understand why this particular issue is so important. Why there is a need of academic integrity. That's why I'm putting these slides on the screen. So this way I've listed out some 5 cases here. That is Game of Pong is there. Then the Da Vinci Code, right, written by Dan Brown, and so on, right? So these 5 cases internationally. Now let's go a little further and find out what is there in the national scenario, right? Again, with I do not want to indulge into any kind of controversies. This is what has been reported by the media, and that's why I'm putting it. Again, the source is copyleaks.com. Right. So these are the 5 famous plagiarism cases in India. 5 plagiarized article on Indian Foundation website. Big names like MJ Akbar, Nirmala Sitharaman, right, Swapna Das Gupta and others. They were plagiarized. They were accused of plagiarism. I'll not say what has happened later on. That is none of our business to see. Then a chemistry professor accused of plagiarizing more than 70 articles, Sri Venkateswara University. Right. Kavya Vishnathan was accused of plagiarism for her debut novel. Right. Stanford University wrote to late President APJ Abdul Kalam about Professor Rajput's plagiarism. Plagiarism accusation against Dr. Gurunathan and his group. Right. So what has happened, that is, in particular, during 2007 to 2011, in our country, we have reported highest plagiarism rate, right, across the globe. Okay. And that has led to the need of understanding that this particular aspect is very important and it must be dealt with seriously, right? On the parallel line, let's say if you look at the technological front, there are issues which are cropping up, that is how to curtail the use of AI, right? So the government is moving ahead with certain, I think yesterday's Honorable Prime Minister's speech somewhere he talked about, that is we need to regulate this, right? So this academic integrity, again, it has to be regulated. It has been regulated by various agencies and so on. That is, again, we will have a look at. But I hope these 2 slides must have clear your idea why this topic is so important, right? So important for the academic fraternity in general, right? Now, before moving ahead, we will just try to understand certain aspects with regard to what is called as ethics. I think I have fired a question and Professor Kasat has rightly said integrity is nothing but the honesty. Now I am asking, what are ethics, let's say. So anybody will try to respond this, that is, what is ethics?
It belongs to the moral values.
Moral values. I think, sir, when I have talked about integrity, I have touched upon the moral principle. So
Yes, yes, sir.
integrity, basically, it is a superset which contains moral principles, right? But ethics is a little bit different. So in what way it is different? You are on the right line, but exactly, let's say, if you wish to understand this particular thing, we need to go rather dig this particular aspect little further. Okay, I'll just try to explain the concept with the help of a simple example. Let's say you are on a morning walk or an evening walk, and let's say you find some money lying on the street, maybe 100 rupees. I'll not talk about it. I'm simply saying money, it is ambiguous, lying on the street. Now, there are four options you have. You can either leave it as it is, you can pick it up and spend it. Third option is pick it up and give it to charity, or you can go for something else. Now, I want at least 4 of you to respond because there are 4 options. Just tell me which particular option you will pick up. I hope you have understood the
Donation.
situation. Yes, sir.
Donation, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, it depends on the condition of the person who finds the money on the road. If it is a beggar, he will keep with him.
Okay.
If it's a rich man, will spend.
Harshal, I think Harshal Datir sir is speaking, if I am not wrong.
No, I am Professor Mungo now.
Acha. Okay.
It depends.
Chaliye. No. And in the present scenario, let's say you yourself, you imagine yourself in that particular situation.
Definitely option C will be there, sir, for my side.
Acha, you will pick it up and give it to charity. Okay.
Yeah.
Chaliye. Great. Then next, any other option? Any other person?
I will go for something else.
You will go for something else. Okay. Kasat sir will go with something else. Okay. And Sheetal Dande madam, I think she's putting some comments. I don't know. But anyway. So Kasat sir will go with something else. Any other option? Nobody will pick it up and spend it, or nobody will leave it as it is. Anyway, I'll try to make the problem a little bit more complex. Okay, earlier I said that some money lying on the street. Now I am saying I'm quantifying the money, the amount of money. Let's say if it is 100 rupees note, what you will do? Asad sir, your answer will remain same or it will change? If it is 100 rupees note, then what you will do? You will still remain with something else, or you feel that you need to change the option. Leave it as it is. I think Parag Gadwes. Yes. So leave it as it is. Somebody has said leave it as it is. Okay, if it is 100 rupees note, leave it as it is. Let's say if it is 1 CR, 1 crore. A bag full of 500 notes containing roughly 1 crore. What you will do?
Submit in a police station, sir.
Okay, great. Now let me know who is speaking. Your name, sir?
Shirbate, Nityananda Shir.
Acha, Shirbate, sir. Chaliye. So you will, somebody said that he or she will give it to the nearest police station, submit it there, okay, so that the original owner can claim it, and later on he will
So-
get his money back, something like that. Okay.
So this,
Now I am
this
making it,
option can be taken as something else.
sir, sorry,
This option can be taken as something else.
this can be taken as something else. Okay. Okay, I'll make it more complex. Let's say you are hungry since last 8 days. Okay. ऐसा होना नहीं, अल्लाह ना करे किसी के साथ हो, ठीक है, लेकिन अगर आप भूखे हैं 8 दिन से, ठीक है, और आपको शाम का वक्त है और आप टहल रहे हैं रास्ते पे, या फिर आप रोड साइड कहीं खड़े हैं और आपको 100 रुपए का किसी का नोट दिखता है, तो आप उठाओगे उसको, लेके सीधे रेस्टोरेंट में जाके खाना खाओगे, या फिर से यही करोगे कि यू विल डू समथिंग एल्स, और यू विल पिक इट अप एंड गिव इट टू चैरिटी, और व्हाट इट इज एग्जैक्टली?
नहीं, खाना खाएंगे सर.
हाँ, अब किसने कहा है खाना खाएंगे?
शिरबाते आगे.
शिरबाते सर. तो शिरबाते सर, अभी आपके दिमाग में दूसरा कुछ नहीं आएगा कि ये पैसे किसके हैं?
नहीं नहीं
है
सर.
ना? कुछ भी नहीं आएगा.
पापी पेट का सवाल है सर. पापी पेट का
Exactly,
सवाल.
exactly. So what I mean to say is your ethical behavior, I think some Mongna sir has touched upon that particular thing. It depends upon the circumstances. So there are various things, right? Things are not, see, nobody is criminal by choice, I should say. There are a lot of movies, you must have seen Hindi movies, right? So which are based on this theme. है ना, अमिताभ बच्चन की अगर पुरानी फिल्में देखें आप 80s की, तो यू विल फाइंड दैट द थीम इज लाइक दिस ओनली, दैट इज वो बचपन में बड़ा सफर होता है एंड देन ही बिकम एंग्री मैन, एंग्री यंग मैन, समथिंग लाइक दैट, राइट? सो इथिकल बिहेवियर बेसिकली डिपेंड्स ऑन मेनी फैक्टर्स. What are those factors? We'll go one by one. It depends upon the individual. As the earlier answers, when you were saying, when I said some money, most of you said कि भाई either you will do something else or you will pick it up and give it to charity. So that basically depends on how you are, what kind of moral values you are grown up with, right? That is whatever moral values, because see, every family has got some kind of you can say the moral values. Okay, that is when you are very small, your parents teach you that is how to behave, that is, and how to interact, how to behave in the society and so on. So that is the individual. Okay, but the circumstantial, as I said, as somebody has said कि भाई when somebody is hungry since last 10 days, उसके दिमाग में दूसरा कुछ नहीं आएगा, वो पैसे उठाएगा और सीधा जाके नियरेस्ट रेस्टोरेंट में खाना खा लेगा. सो द सर्कमस्टांसेस मेनी टाइम्स कंपेल यू टू कमिट wrong, right? And the third one is the moral intensity with this question, which is more or less is a corollary of the second point, that is the circumstances, right? So this will determine your you can say the ethical behavior. We will dig it little further and we'll just try to find out why people compromise you can say ethics and so on, right? We'll go a little further. There are two theories. The underlying theories are theory of absolutism and the another theory is of theory of relativism, right? So the theory of absolutism talks about that is, there is one set of rule and rules are common to all, right? Whatever rules are there, say for example, ordinance number 1/2016, it is common to all, whether you are a research scholar at SIPNA, COE, or you are at PRMIT NR, or you are at some different research. So you have one set of rules and rules common to all. That is the theory of absolutism. Okay, wherever you go, people will tell you, okay, well, this is what is there in the 1/2016, you have to follow it, right? Rules unlikely to change. Okay, another thing with regard to absolutism theory is rules unlikely to change. And the theory is basically based on what they call it as a dogmatic. And it is based on a principle called absolute truth exists, right? Absolute truth exists. We will go further. Just let me read out. If you look at the relativism theory, wherein you have got many acceptable set of rules, rules can change over time. Ordinance number 1/2016 can be repealed in 2024 with ordinance number 5/2024. So rules can change over time. Okay, so rules are not unlikely to change. They will change over time, and this approach is called as what they call it as the pragmatic approach. And there is no absolute truth. Okay, so dogmatic means dogmatic person. Let's say if I ask you to categorize yourself, if you look at these absolutism and relativism theory, and you categorize yourself whether you are a dogmatic person or a pragmatic person, which one you will pick up? Which is more realistic? Or in which case you will be dealing with things more sensibly and realistically? I don't know how many of you are with me, but
Yes, sir, we are.
yes. So whether you feel that if you look at your personality and your behavior, sorry, most of us, we will call us as pragmatic or dogmatic.
Pragmatic.
Exactly, right? So because we are all from a scientific background, engineering or scientific background, we are more practical people. Pragmatic is nothing but what is practically possible or not, right? To put it simple. But do you feel that anything like absolutism theory exists in the world? So dogmatic is something wherein you have a firm faith that I am always right and you are always wrong. There are people, right? There are people in the world. And normally what do we do when we face these kind of persons? We say, okay, yaar, there is no fun arguing with this fellow. Okay. Because in a day, night, full sunny day, he may say, okay, yaar, it is 12 o'clock at night. So what is the best ways to come out of this dilemma is, कि भाई ठीक है sir, आप बराबर हैं, your boss, let's say if that is your boss, then you should say कि भाई sir ठीक है, अभी दिन नहीं है, रात है, चलिए ठीक है ना. तो dogmatic person is a person wherein I am right and you are wrong. Okay. Now, can you tell me a scenario wherein you can apply this dogmatic kind of theory or absolutism theory?
In
Whereas
dictatorship,
yes,
yeah,
sir.
in
Yes, sir.
dictatorship, it can be dogmatic, and in democracy, programmatic.
Correct. So democracy is nothing but the relativism theory. That is, many acceptable set of rules are there. Rules can change over time, right? One ordinance can be repealed by the another, and so on and so forth, right? And you are more practical, pragmatic. You are changing with respect to time, with respect to the demand of the time, and so on. And you believe that there is no absolute truth. But there is one thing wherein all of us, those who believe in God, okay, they are the persons of that sort. When it comes to religion, most of us are dogmatic. If I am not wrong, you can correct me. Okay, we'll not go, rather, we'll not debate on this aspect further. But when it comes to religion, okay, our beliefs are very, very strong. Okay, and the philosophy, and we never question that why it is so. Okay, most of the time, right? Most of the people who have firm faith in God Almighty, right? They have that kind of theory that they say कि भाई नहीं, whether it is the book has been written in 1400 years ago, doesn't matter. Okay, whatever is there, it is patthar ki lakir for us, right? So there is no scope of any change as far as when it comes to religion. So religious belief, right? Okay, philosophy, religious in particular, okay, that is of dogmatic sort, right? Wherein you never question why this particular thing is so, right? Okay, one set of moral rules, and rules are common to all. Okay, whether you are a king or you are a labor, okay, the rules will remain same, right? But relativism theory, wherein you can say many acceptable rules and many possibilities, and rules can change. Your approach is little bit practical, okay, and there is no absolute truth. That is what you believe in, right? That is what you believe in. So, in simple words, that is pragmatic is sort of a cooperative. There are 4 qualities of a pragmatic person. That is the quality or doing a job maybe more realistically and sensibly, right? That is relativism, right? That is relativism. I hope I've tried my level best to because this is the baseline theory. Okay, once you understand this, definitely the ethics will be more easy to understand, right? Now, when it comes to, let's say, the ethical issues in publication, okay, we have talked about in general what are ethics. These are nothing but the, as Kasat sir has said, the moral principles or and so on. You have a question about continuation with ethics for fast publication. People used to. I don't know what is the comment, madam. If you can unmute yourself and you can.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
Uddhav Rame, sir.
Yes.
In continuation with ethics, sir, actually, sir, people, whenever for fast publication,
Correct.
in a reputed journal and SCI journal, people are used to submit their research proposal in many journals simultaneously. Is it a part of ethics, or we should stick up to only one journal?
You have to ideally, and that is there. That slide will come up, okay, later on, wherein I will talk about duplicate publication. Okay, that comes under compromising ethics, right? So duplicate publication is again a serious issue, right? That is whatever you are talking about. That is submitting the same article to multiple journals, right? For maybe making little bit changes and so on, right? So that will come up, Ramekar sir. Don't worry, right? That issue we'll discuss at length. Okay. Now, why do we compromise? Why do ethical issues they arise in publication, and why do we compromise ethics? Okay, these are the reasons to it. Journal exists to enhance the scientific database, enhance seniority and promotion. Now it has been linked with your promotion. Let's say if you want to become a professor, you have to have 2 SCI publication. Okay, you have to have at least 2 Scopus Index publication, right? With so much API score and so on, right? Now you have been compelled to, I still remember, that is when I did my bachelor's from government engineering, there were no PhD in the entire institute except one person, that is my I think respected Ghator sir. He was the only PhD those days, right? So koi PhD karta nahi tha, because BTech was more than enough qualification for becoming even principal of a college, right? Gawande sir, I still remember, he was BE only, and later on I think with some vacational ME he has completed, right? But so BE was enough for becoming a principal. Now, but in today's scenario, let's say if you want to be a principal or if you want to be a professor, okay, you have to have publication to you, and that is what is you can say the bottleneck, right? Which makes you rather which compels you to commit mistakes and so on, and compromise the ethics, right? So, but when it comes to, you can say, the journals, okay, they may earn, because ultimately it is a business for them. So publishers profit. You must have seen that the APC charges are in dollars, $500, $700, and so on, because their bread and butter is basically dependent on the money they are generating from the you can say the APC, right? So that's why we compromise many times these issues, right? Now, having said that, but that is I think we have built the philosophy that why this is important, what is the need, then what is the theory behind ethics and so on, right? Then UGC realized in 2018 that this issue is really serious. Okay. So what has happened? They have come up with a notification dated 23rd July 2018, wherein they have categorically defined what academic integrity is all about, right? So now we are switching to our main topic. Academic integrity is the intellectual honesty in proposing, performing, and reporting any activity. Now look at this. See, when you read any act or any ordinance or a direction, okay, they define, they put a lot of commas and they define it in a very crystal clear manner. So it is not merely honesty. It is honesty in proposing, performing, and reporting any activity which leads to the creation of intellectual property. Now, under IP, you may have a number of things. You may have, you can say, the research paper, okay, copyrights, and then whatnot. That is the patent and so on, right? So, creation of intellectual property. When you are doing this activity for any IP creation and you are compromising and whenever you are proposing, performing, or maybe reporting result, and you are compromising academic integrity or honesty, so it is expected that you should be honest to the academic circle and so on, right? Why do we compromise integrity? So there are reasons to it. The very first reason is either publish or perish. Okay, now it is linked with your bread and butter, as I said, that is linked with promotion, selection, appointment, right? There is a API score and everybody is after it. Okay, earlier it was not there, nobody was after publication and so on. Many times we compromise it for becoming famous in a particular domain. Let's say if you want to be a famous person, okay, you compromise it. But in certain countries, like say China, they have monetary rewards. Okay, let's say if you have SCI publication, quality SCI publication, you get some seed money from the government. So that is again a source of income. Okay, and that's why you find so many Chinese in most of the publications, right? Particularly reputed publications, right? So there are reasons to it. These are the 4 reasons which I have listed out here, right? But there may be other reasons as well. Then I think Ramekar sir, if I'm not wrong, he was talking about this duplicate publication, right? That is the very first category of, you can say, the compromising academic integrity. That is republishing the same finding again and again. Okay, maybe I have come up with a paper in the month of January, and now what I'm doing, I'm a little bit modifying, again submitting it, getting the next paper done in the same year, but the concept or the idea remains same. Now submitting the same manuscript to 2 or more journals, that is what he was talking about. Okay, and that's why if you look at any submission guidelines, you will find that they ask you whether the same publication you have submitted to somewhere else or not, right? So it is expected, and you very casually tick that checkbox, right? So submitting the same manuscript to 2 or more journals is a crime, right? It is not legally allowed, right? So at once, that is at the same time, okay? That is highly dangerous. That comes under duplicate publication. Or dividing one research paper into many little papers, that is called as slimy slicing. That is what most of the people used to do is, say, review paper, okay? One or maybe a block schematic wherein you simply talk about the methodology you are going to adopt for a research proposal. Okay, then the second paper you may come up with some, you can say, the results. And third paper you may come up with some modified results and so on. So the idea remains same, that is slimy slicing. Idea same, concept same, approach same, little bit variation in result, and little bit, you can say, compromises in some certain things. Again, that is duplicate publication. That will be categorized as duplicate publication. So which is again dangerous, right? Now, UGC has not only defined academic integrity, they have defined what is called as author. Okay. So author is basically who can be author for a particular thing, maybe a patent or a copyright. It includes a student or a faculty. It is not all the time a student, or it is not all the time a faculty, or a researcher or staff. Staff means even your lab assistant can be an author if he is contributing some way or the other for carrying out that particular research. Okay, of HEIs who claims to be the creator of the work under consideration. This is how author has been defined by the UGC in, again, the same baseline document I am referring to, that is 28 July 2018. What are the other characteristics that author must have? That is substantial contribution to the conception and design of a paper. let's say I'm not contributing, since I'm enjoying a position in the institution, okay, my name is basically included in all those paper. That is not supposed to be the ideal things, right? So since I am the head, I am having a number of research student working under my department. Okay, in all those papers, let's say my last name appears to be my name. That is again wrong. Or acquisition of data or analysis and interpretation of data. Okay, so substantial contribution. I am not contributing anything. Now this is how it is dangerous, that I'll come to that point. So drafting article or revisiting it critically for important intellectual content and final approval of the version to be published. Now, this stuff actually I have taken from two different sources. Actually, in our technical education, we are not so, I think, hard about all these issues. But when it comes to medical education, they are really very harsh, I should say, with regard to all these implementation. Even if you look at the functioning of MCI and if you look at the functioning of AICT, you will find there is a drastic difference. Right, the approach, the way in which they handle, they never ever compromise. Now it is little bit deteriorating, but earlier, but when it comes to publication in medical journals, ICMG, that is ICMJ is the organization. We'll have a look at that particular thing later on. So they have come up, they have come up with this particular definition of authorship. So author should be a person who is giving some substantial contribution to the conception and design of a paper. Now, authorship order is the next important issue. That is, discuss the order of the authorship at the beginning. Now, it is conventional most of the time. That is, whosoever is carrying out the research, maybe a research scholar, his name is normally kept at number 1. Research supervisor is next, and maybe some third co-supervisor and so on. Something. Now, once you have taken this, you can revise it in between unless and until the paper has been published. But again, ideally, it is not expected that you make certain changes in that. So revised decision on authorship during the write-up process if required. Okay, that is most of the journals they allow. All authors take responsibility for the content in the manuscript. Now, let's say my number appears at 7th level. The 6 different people are there. My number is the 7th one. Okay. So when it comes to, let's say, credit, okay, I am very much there. I will say, this SCI publication is mine only. Okay. But if something goes wrong, okay, all of 7 will get the equal penalty. Right there, you cannot say. And that's why most of the journals, whenever somebody submits paper, okay, mentioning your name and email ID correctly, they fire you a mail. Instantly, they will fire you a mail. And the mail, normally the subject line is, that is, Mr. So-and-so has submitted the paper and you are claiming yourself to be one of the author of that particular manuscript. If it is not so, you can reply them and you can say, no, I am not the author. You can please remove my name, something like that. But if you keep mum, meaning thereby you are agreeing to that. And let's say later on, if it happens that the content, whatever your student has submitted, it is having a plagiarized content or the similarity index is to the tune of 80%. Now the penalty will be imposed. And now it will be imposed irrespective of your position, whether you are number 1 or number 7. Okay, all of you will be banned. All of you will be, you can say you need to retract your paper or withdraw your paper, right? So it is highly dangerous, right? So all authors take the responsibility for content in the manuscript. It is not that number 1 will share 80% responsibility and number 7 will share only 5%, nothing like that. So disclose if any third party is involved in the writing. Again, many times we take professional writers or consulting firms. Okay, there are people available in the market. Okay, let's say if you are not good in English, okay, so it may happen that you will take some help from some professional agency for, you can say, the correcting grammars or maybe formatting and other things and so on, right? So that is possible. That is very much allowed. But the condition is that you have to disclose it before submission. Well, so-and-so agency was hired for so-and-so purpose, whatever it is, right? If you do so, there is no problem. But later on, if it is found that you are indulged in those activities, then definitely it is considered as a compromise on academic integrity. Now, the another aspect is scientific misconduct. Now, these two issues are a little bit confusing. We'll have a look at these two concepts. What they call it is the fabrication. that is making up the data or result and reporting them. I'll little bit correct it. I'll say cooking up the data or a result and reporting them, right? So why I'm saying cooking up? Because many times we manipulate the result. Manipulate the result in such a way that is we try to show only the brighter side of the result, whatever we are getting. Okay, and the all the darker aspects, that is wherever your parameters are deteriorating, normally we hide them. So that is again not allowed legally. That comes under scientific misconduct. Okay, and the second aspect is the falsification, where in manipulating research material, equipment, process, or changing or omitting data or result with the intent to change the outcome. Okay, there are certain results. Let's say your performance is good for a particular sort of input. Okay, but when you change the input, okay, the performance, or you are recalibrating the equipment in such a way to get the desired result. Okay, whatever exactly you want or your supervisor want, right? That comes under falsification. So both these two things are highly dangerous and they are categorized as scientific misconduct. This is not what I am saying. This is basically the verdict of the UGC or AICT for that purpose. Third and the most important one is, which is very common, is what they call it as the plagiarism. What is plagiarism? It is when somebody present work of another person's ideas. Again, there are commas here, right? Ideas, processes, results, or words as if they were his oblique her own without proper acknowledgement. Now, if you want to come out of all these things, what you need to do, you need to be little bit honest when it comes to citation and acknowledging a paper. That is, if you can put, let's say I am taking up this particular content from the 28th of July 2018 notification of UGC, and I'm deliberating the entire session, and I'm not disclosing that from where I have taken up these things, right? So that is, but if you acknowledge it, you can very well come out. On the parallel line, let's say if you are taking some stuff from some paper, it is legally allowed. The only thing is that you need to acknowledge it. You need to cite it in your reference section, right? If you do so, you can very well come out, right? So it is not merely copying and pasting. Most of the time, we have a very misunderstanding with regard to plagiarism is only copy paste sort of thing. Even if it is an idea, or even if it is a process or results. Okay, certain cases you may find that people take only result part. Or words, verb verbatim is the most common one, as if they were his oblique her own without proper acknowledgement. That is again scientific misconduct, right? Now there are different types of plagiarism. We will just have a cursory look at them. Okay, the very first one is ideas, as I said. That is, plagiarism of ideas occurs when one fails to acknowledge the origin of thought, idea, or invention. Sources.
Sir, can I ask you one question?
Yes,
here?
ma'am. Please.
Sir,
I'll be happy to answer. Yes.
Sir, most of time we cited all the author in a literature review section or maybe the introduction section. But sometimes when we compare the result, means this model have this kind of accuracy and all that, comparative analysis, most of time we have placed in a result or the conclusion section. That there also we need to cite that author. Suppose we compare our result with the 10 models, which they're in a different citation.
Okay.
So there also we need to cite that paper.
See, at least once in your entire, let's say, if it is appearing for the first time, okay, wherever it is appearing for the first time, if there itself you cite that particular paper and you are including that in your reference section, there is no need to cite it again and again. But it should appear at least once. And that's why when normally you get the review on your paper, okay, they say the reference section shows that there are 50 references, whereas the running text shows only 48 references. 2 references are missing. So what do they do normally? They check whether all those references, 50, whatever you have jot down, whether they appear somewhere. Maybe again, it is not necessary that you must put them in chronological order or in a sequence. They may appear randomly, but at least once it should be there in your running text, at least once. Okay, so you can come out because you are putting, and once again, you must put proper title, proper edition, proper, you can say if URL is there, all those things. Let's say if you simply write only that's why this reference section is so crucial.
So right now SCI paper and that kind
Yes.
of that level paper, whenever we write that kind of level paper, no,
Yes.
that time we find that is the sometimes 10 references are there in our reference section, which only we use for the result section, and
Okay.
result section we never cite any things. We just in
Not
literature
necessary, madam.
analysis
Not
and all.
necessary.
That's why
Not
I
necessary.
asked. Okay.
Not necessary actually, but at least once it has to be there somewhere. Maybe in review section, or maybe in you can say the methodology when you are explaining. At least once it is there, doesn't make any sense that you need to put it again and again, maybe in result section and so on. But it should be there at least once, right?
Thank you, sir.
At least one. You can quote it multiple times. Again, there are no restrictions for it, but it is not mandatory. I hope I have answered it.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. Chaliye, let's move further. That is sources I have talked about. That is plagiarism of sources occurs when one does not attribute the correct sources for a piece of writing or what I am doing. I am referring X paper, but I am in the reference section. I am putting it Y. Okay. So I am hiding the source. Okay. Because I want to manipulate it some way or the other. Okay. Authorship. Plagiarism of authorship occurs when one claims authorship of an entire work without actually fulfilling the criteria for authorship. What is the criteria of authorship that we have categorically spelled out? Right. So if you meet that criteria, then and then you can claim to be an author. Right. And the fourth one, which is very common, is verbatim or word of word plagiarism, which occurs when one copies or uses portion of text, okay, by another without clearly demonstrating appropriate quotation and citation standard. So if you put it in quotation marks, again, you can come out of this, right? And put that particular paper in the reference section. Okay, you can copy a complete paragraph. There is no hitch, right? There is no hitch and there is no plagiarism case in that case, right? But you have to put it in double quotes and you have to put it in the reference section. That what is the source, right? So if you do so, you can even copy a paragraph. Okay, so copying is not plagiarism, right? The only thing is you need to do is you need to acknowledge it, right? Now, what has happened during due to that duplicate publication? I think somebody has touched upon that particular thing. Is submitting same paper to two different journals and so on. What has happened? It has led to a new sort of plagiarism. What they call it as the self-plagiarism. Actually, some of the people, they feel that it is a plagiarism, but some of the reviewer, they feel that it should be allowed, right? So it is debatable, but UGC is very strict on that. Okay, they have again come up with a notification on 20th April 2020. It is bottom line, it is there in my slide, right? It is a type of plagiarism in which the writer republishes the works in its entirety or reuses portions of previously written text while authoring a new work. Okay, I am after number because one paper I am getting 10 API score. So I want to have minimum 100 API score, let's say, or maybe 30 API score in category 3. Then what I'll do, I don't have any, I am not finding time for research. I don't have any new idea. What I'll do, I'll take up my previous paper and I'll go for a new publication. So that is again considered as a plagiarism. So republishing the same paper already published elsewhere without due and full citation. Actually, even if it is your own paper, this is a very important point I am telling you. Even if it is your own paper, okay, when you are using it, okay, you need to take, let's say if you are using it, let's say you are copying certain stuff from it, you need to take written permission from the author or the person who is enjoying the copyright with regard to that particular paper. Normally, we don't have our copyright with us as an author, and that's why those people who intend to use our stuff, they don't seek our permission. But let's say in your paper, one complete diagram is there, and I feel that I want to use it as it is. I can use that diagram. There is no hitch. But what is the condition? I need to write to the publisher because we transfer our rights, copyrights, to the publishing house. And that is what is the copyright forms talks about, right? They make money out of your hard work, right? So you submit them. Once you submit them, you sign that copyright form. You are transferring all your right to the publisher. And then the publisher, let's say if somebody is downloading it or somebody wishes to use it, they may charge something. Okay, so you are authorizing them. And the credit you are getting is you are getting the credit in terms of publication only. Okay, so the money, all the money they are making it, right? But it is there. So even if it is your own, you have to have this kind of thing. That is publishing a smaller escape from longer and previous without due and full citation. You have to cite it. If you cite it, you can come out of it. Reusing data. Let's say it happens, है ना, अपने reference section में आप क्या करते हैं? आपके खुद के paper normally डालते नहीं हैं. लेकिन it is ideally, it is expected that you should put, let's say if you are referring to, you should put your own paper. That will increase your citation index as well. And the other benefit as well, and you can come out of this self-plagiarism. But later on in the review process, if it is found that you have taken stuff from your own paper, they will say, no, it is plagiarized. Okay, then you cannot claim that, sir, I am the only author, I have written the earlier one. But you have already got. See, the simple principle here is, that is, you can get credit for whatever publication you have only once. You cannot claim it twice or thrice. है ना, एक पेपर में आप पास हो गए, आपने 10 मार्क ले लिए, तो फिर से वही पेपर ले जाके 10 मार्क फिर से लेना चाहेंगे, तो इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. दैट इज द बेसलाइन philosophy behind it, right? So self plagiarism. So breaking up a longer or a larger study into smaller, that is again comes under you can say the self plagiarism. Paraphrasing one's own previously published work without due and full citation of the original. Again, you can easily come out of this by simply citing your own paper, as I said. So I'm not only posing you the problem, but I am trying my level best to give you the solution. What is the solution over it, right? So you can come out, right? So you have to cite your own. Doesn't make any, you can say, difference. Okay, if you cite your own paper, it is not at all harmful, right? So self-plagiarism. Now, there are again two broad categories of plagiarism. What they call it as unintentional and intentional plagiarism. What is unintentional? Paraphrasing poorly. Changing the sentence structure, but not the words, or changing few words without changing the structure. This is again very common, right? Paraphrasing very poorly. Okay. Now there are tools. You are living in a world, but at the same time, your flag tools are again now AI enabled. Okay. So if you put some matter generated by ChatGPT, it is having that AI capability. Now it will come up. Oh, no, this is again generated by ChatGPT version 4.0. So quoting poorly, that is putting quotation marks around a passage that is partly paraphrased and partly quoted. That is again dangerous. Okay, few statement you are double quoting, but few things you are intentionally omitting or unintentionally omitting. Sorry, unintentional plagiarism we are talking. So instead of putting that double quotation marks at the end, somewhere in between you are putting it. Citing poorly, that is omitting an occasional citation or citing inaccurately. That is again unintentional. So unintentional is a little bit, you can say, little bit allowed, I should say, right? But intentional plagiarism is dangerous. That is passing off one's own pre-written papers from the internet or other sources. What I am doing, I am taking XYZ's paper. I am putting my name as the author, my supervisor's name as the author, and rest of the things I am keeping as it is. This is intent. Now here I cannot revert back, sir, by mistake ho gaya. Okay, so that is dangerous. Copying an essay from the internet, online sources, electronic database, without quoting or giving credit. Cutting and pasting from more than one sources to create a paper without quoting or giving credit. Again, unintentional plagiarism. Right? What is excluded from plagiarism? That is, we have talked about the categories, types, okay, intentional, unintentional, and so on. Right? Let's move ahead with what is not there, what is not included in the plagiarism. So all quoted work reproduced with all necessary permission and or attribution. This is what I was talking about. That is, if you take permission, you can copy a diagram, you can copy a full-fledged page. Okay, if you take permission from the person who is enjoying the copyright for that particular document you are referring to. So all references, bibliography, again, that is why most of the time when you go for flag checking, they say कि भाई you remove all the cover pages, acknowledgement, preface, table of contents, bibliography, references, because that is not included, right? So all generic terms, that is laws, standard symbols, and standard quotations, common language or coincidental term up to 14 consecutive. There is a limit, right? 14 consecutive terms. It is excluded from plagiarism. Common languages means well-established fact, quote, figure, or information that is known to most of the people. Sorry for the interruption. So I'm still in the office. Anyway, so common languages mean well-established fact. So Newton's law or anything like that, maybe G is equal to something. So all those things are excluded from plagiarism. That is not included in plagiarism. Right. Now, this we will not go into the details, but this is again the extract from that 23rd July 2018. Again, but as a researcher or as an academician, we need to know these things. Okay. Later on, you can in detail you can study this ordinance number or rather notification number dated 23rd July 2018. So there are 4 levels: 0, 1, 2, and 3. And look at the penalties. Okay, penalties in submission of thesis and dissertation. This is not, I am not saying, this is what is being said by the UGC, right? So similarity index up to 10% minor similarities, 10 to 40% such student shall be asked to submit a revised script within a stipulated time period not exceeding 6 months. That is 6 months is the time limit for that particular, 10 to 40. If it is 40 to 60, such student shall be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. And level 3, it is 60% and above. Such student registration for that program shall be cancelled. Now you are all autonomous institutions, right? So you have a liberty to exercise all these things in real life scenarios, right? But this is what the UGC says, right? Now this is with regard to the student, right? This is with regard to student. Now it is very harsh when it comes to the academic fertility, right? Level 0, 1, 2, again 3 is there. Up to 10% minor similarities, no penalty. 10 to 40% shall be asked to withdraw the script. You will be asked to withdraw the script by a written apology. It may happen that apology later will be published on the immediately after the index of the journal, right? So they are very keen about that, right? So similarities above 40 to 60 shall be asked to withdraw the script, shall be denied right to 1 annual increment. Why we are doing all this research and publication and so on, just for getting the financial benefits. Your increment can be debarred, 1 increment, if it is 40 to 60. Shall not be allowed to be a supervisor to any master's, MPhil or PhD student for a period of 2 years. Level 3 is still dangerous, right? That is, shall be asked to withdraw the script, shall be denied right to 2 annual increment, and shall not be allowed to be a supervisor for a period of 3 years. So look at, see how serious UGC is about this particular issue, right? Now, having said that, that is, we have started with, now this is almost, we are at the fag end of my talk. I think we are well within time, right? So the last but one aspect which I have talked about is what is COI? That is the conflict of interest. So conflict of interest is something like, let's say if you are a, I'll put it in to make it on a lighter note, right? Let's say you are a president of a national political party, maybe Congress or BJP, right? And you are the prime minister at the same time. So there lies the conflict of interest. I think these sort of issues where crop up, and that's why one person, one position. That's why the mantra, right? So it exists when there is a divergence between an individual's private interest, that is the competing interest, and his or her responsibilities to scientific and publishing activities, such that a reasonable observer might wonder if the individual's behavior or judgment was motivated by consideration of his or her competing interest. Let's say I am the managing editor of a XYZ journal, which is a peer-reviewed journal, SCI index journal. Okay, now I wish to publish my own paper in the same journal. Or let's say one of my student who did PhD under me, he is the managing editor of XYZ journals. Now I am using my relationship. So I need to disclose what kind of relationship I enjoy with that managing editor, right? Or a chief editor or whatever, right? So if I do not, and later on, let's say if it comes into notice, then action can be taken against, right? This is not what I am saying. So conflict of interest exists when one participant in the publication process, maybe author or peer review editor, has a competing interest that could unduly influence or be reasonably seen to do so, his or her responsibility in the publication process, starting from submission of manuscript to peer review and everything, right? So if I am having that relationship, okay, I can manage everything. I can manage the peer reviewer. I can know their name. I can approach them. I can manipulate it. So you have to disclose this. Again, there is just like you have a copyright form, on the parallel line, you have a COI form. And this is very common. I don't know about in technical education, it is not taking, you can say it is not taken up so seriously. But when it comes to medical education, because there you are dealing with human life, right? So they are very serious, and there is huge amount of money which is involved in their research, right? So this is what is given by WAME, which is the World Association of Medical Editors. WAME is the organization, right? They have given this COI, and just like you have a copyright form, you have a disclosure of COI form, wherein you need to disclose what kind of relationship you enjoy with the publishing house, or if you have any competing interest. Let's say you are working for a pharma company, okay, and you are putting up some patent, okay, or you are having some influence or some kind of relationship over there, and you are misusing that relationship for getting those favors, okay, there you need to disclose it. And if you don't disclose it, you may be in trouble. So again, there are different types of conflict of interest. I will not go into the detail. We'll just have a cursory look at these aspects. That is a clear statement of example of the types of interest. So it is basically financial ties. It is academic commitment. Academic commitment I am having to my organization, academic commitment I am having to a publishing house, and what kind of personal relationship I am having, what kind of political or religious. It is not only personal only, right? It may happen that maybe I will use my political or maybe religious belief, okay, which can help me in getting my things done, or institutional affiliation. Institutional affiliation, that is again makes a lot of difference. Okay, so all these things are very important, right, when it comes to publication, right, or publication ethics. Now, how to declare this? Declaring conflict of interest, there is a form, as I said, that is a COI form. Okay, what is to be declared, everything is mentioned. When and to whom it is to be declared, format for declaration is there, and a journal's role in asking additional questions. They may ask you a number of questions or clarification regarding disclosure. Okay, you are saying that my relative is there, but you are not exactly disclosing the relationship you enjoy. Okay, so they may ask you, let's say if it is not there in the form, they may write you up and they will say, anyway, well, you have disclosed this, but what kind of relationship you enjoy, whether he is your student or he is your son or he is your daughter or whatever, right? So what are the consequences of falling disclosure before or after publication? So if you disclose it before, then there's no issue, just like we cite properly cite in the papers, there's no issue. But when you don't disclose it, you may face problem, right? So again, with regard to WAME, as I said, I have explored this little bit. They have come up with 18 different charts are there, okay, which talks about that is how these issues are to be dealt with, right? Whenever you approach them or you claim them, well, this is XYZ has taken up certain things from me, or there is a COI which establishes. So you have to, many times you have to retract your paper. Okay, you have to withdraw your paper. So it is not so easy, right? It is highly dangerous, I should say, right? So the last, I think CEO, last topic, I think this is probably the last one. But again, I have got, but I don't know to listen me. But I'll just tell you, these are the agencies which are working on all these issues, whatever I've talked about. The very first committee is what they call it as the COPE, that is the Committee on Publication Ethics. This was established in 1997 to 2003. Only 90 members were there. Now 2006 to 9, 3,000 plus members are there. Now more than 12,500 plus members are there. And all of them, they are from 103 countries and mostly editors of reputed journals. Now, if you are a signatory on COPE, okay, you have to follow their mandate. Okay, and there is if you look at the last bullet, you will find that there is a publicationethics.org is the name of that organization, right? So COPE is the very premier organization, right, which deals with all these types of issues. You can approach them for any kind of, you can say, activity. Again, they have very good mandate, and then they have a code of conduct. They have everything about publication and all. That is what is to be done, how it is to be done. Okay, what are various, you can say, they have their taglines as well. Okay, they have certain things like that is what are their objectives, what is expectation from an editor, what are the expectation from a researcher, and so on and so forth, right? So all those things are there. These are some of the, you can say, the things which I have taken up from the COPE website. That is allegation of misconduct. What are the penalties? Just like you have UGC, for us, UGC or AICT is the apex body. But when it comes to publication at the topmost level, you have got all these issues and they are empowered to take action against the people who are responsible or rather who are compromising on conflict of interest or maybe academic integrity and so on, right? So this is what is there. The second organization is the WAME. Again, this is a non-profit organization established in 1995. Okay, and this is again wame.org is the, again they have a ethics and professionalism document wherein again if you these are all you can say the URLs, okay, rather links, okay, which you can explore in a greater detail if you wish to, right? This is again WAME is, when it comes to medical education and publication, it is one of the strongest body, right? Then again they have all those issues, how it is to be dealt with. So global health politics, that is for conducting medical trials, right? You need to seek permission, you need to follow certain code of conduct, right? For example, in case of this COVID, what has happened? No trials were taken place and directly the things were administered, right? So there were issues because there were emergencies and so on. But leave apart those exceptional scenario, you have to follow all these code of ethics by all these, you can say the medical editors, organizations and so on, right? So this WAME is there. Again, they have not many resources, that is ethics consultation, ethics case discussion, ethics web resources and whatnot, right? Now, the last one, probably last one is the ICMJ. So even though it is the smallest organization having only 16 members, but it is one of the most powerful, I should say. So ICMJE has come up with what they call it as the URMs, right? So it was published way back in 1978, wherein they talk about that is what should be the structure of a paper, research paper in general, particularly medical journal, right? Once again, medical journals. But again, this is an empowered body, but since they have conducted their first meeting in 1978 Vancouver, this is also called as the Vancouver's style or Vancouver group as well, right? But now they are revising their guidelines and so on. 2007, they have come up with the latest version, okay? And it is almost adopted and followed by almost all the journals worldwide, right? So I'll not go into the details of this, right? Again, they have roles and responsibilities, who is the author and so on, right? So with this, I have, I think I have completed well within the time. It is 6:05. I know you must be there in your institution. I don't know whether you are on your way to your houses, right? So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Any question?
Everyone is sincerely attending the session.
Sir.
Yeah. So all the 16, and those who are on the way, they may be few, but
Sir. Sir.
everybody is attending. Very serious.
Sir, I am there in the office. If the other way around, I would have taken my mobile and I have kept it and I would have moved around. Thank you, sir. Just on a lighter note, sir. Don't take it.
It's one very wonderful session, sir, because the small details that you have shared with your experience, that were very important. Because all the issues we are very much aware about, whether it's IPR or plagiarism, but those are very highly pinpointed and you have very well addressed it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
A little bit short of time, but anyway, tried my level.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I request Harsha madam to go for vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. So good evening to one and all present today in the session. Sir, it is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for the today's insightful session on the academic integrity in research and publication ethics. So on the behalf of Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University, SIPNA College of Engineering and Technology, and SIPNA School of Planning and Architecture, Amravati, I extend my gratitude to Professor Muhammad Atiq sir, Professor and Head of Department Computer Science and Director of UGC MMTTC, Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University. Sir, we all are very well aware of the importance of all the contents that are covered by you today, sir. So we are really very thankful to you for providing us such a detailed and crucial knowledge on maintaining the ethical standards in research and publication. Sir, we are really truly grateful to you for your time and efforts. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
I hope you are enjoying all the sessions and hope the rest of the sessions will be again. I'll try my level best to get the best possible resource person.
Yes, sir. The
Thank you.
sessions are really very nice, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
See you tomorrow, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you.